Chocolate rain. Sorry, that's got stuck in my head again. Thanks to old Grant over there.
You've been waiting your whole life to start off.
Oh, Grant?
Yeah. Well, I need to have that keyboard going on. All right. Hey, welcome to Leog Point 5. And
I turned to breathe in.
And we're kind of calling this at least I myself am calling it where are they now? Where are these plot lines we started out with in 2009? I mean,
right.
what do we got up there? I mean, what's everybody reading in comics these days? The rebirth of the Flash, the death and rebirth of Batman, the death and rebirth of Captain America.
Just in general, a lot of death and rebirth.
Yeah, DC's pretty much a great big cemetery at this point.
Yeah,
and
Blackest
they're
Night.
all going to be brought back to life in a couple of months.
Blackest Night, Dark Rain. There's got to be a connection. To
Chocolate Rain, Blackest Night,
Chocolate Rain. Exactly.
And yet we have new Krypton. New happy Krypton.
See, that's what I like.
Yeah, it's not necessarily all that happy, though.
That's true. It turned out like, hey, unbottling Kandor, not the best idea.
Unless your definition of happy is kneeling before Zod.
True.
That is not so bad.
Yeah.
Unless it's Zod from Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, in which case you probably don't want to kneel in front of him.
I mean, you got Zod on one hand and Idi Amin on the other.
Wait, who?
It's not much of a choice.
Do you not aware that the same actor played Zod and Priscilla? Okay.
Idi Amin?
No. Where
No.
Edie?
Hey,
I thought you were talking about Elliot Yamin from season 5 of American Idol.
Grant, you're going to get kicked out of the league if you keep bringing up America.
I was going to say, that is a kick-outable offense right there.
As a matter of fact, we might
It's
pass
so
your
good.
testicles on to Jason.
Look,
I just thought we
needs it
want to
more
know
than you
where is American Idol now?
I don't know. After his last one of like, oh, really? A Transformer has testicles? I got to see it now. I'm like, man, I'm thinking your membership's up for review.
The long and short of it is before I butcher Grant and sell him for bacon. Is we're talking about comics again.
Wait,
Yay!
I know.
Comic
What the league was
books.
all
Remember
started
comic
for.
books?
Comics. And television.
And a little bit of television.
But before we
Maybe a
do
little
that,
bit
shouldn't we
of-
all introduce ourselves?
Well, we should, of course, introduce ourselves, Cyrus. I was going to get to that.
I'm sorry, you're right.
I'm looking around the
jumping
room at all
gun.
these beautiful people, and I want people at home to know who they're listening to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I'm Cyrus.
And I'm Leon, who's supposed to start this. Son of a bitch.
I am Tony Iommi. I am here with Geezer Butler and Ozzy Osbourne,
And
and
we
we are
rock.
Black Sabbath.
Yes, we
And
do.
to my left is the lovely and talented.
Allison.
Next to that is the more gruesome.
Bo, but I feel pretty inside.
And next to Bo, the less relevant.
Hey, it's co-host.
All right, we got the co-host.
No,
here.
we're not. We agreed. We're not allowing the robot back on the podcast ever again.
Hey,
Really?
man.
Did
the
we agree
saga
that?
continues.
Wait, you guys got my email, right?
You say that, but the nobody generates content like the
No,
co-host.
nobody gains controversy and stupid comments like the robot.
Wait a minute. Did we not have this conversation? Because I'm sorry, guys. Look who's in the box.
Somebody say my name.
You fucking pricks! I will kill you in your sleep.
Oh my God! Wait, we got the co-host and the fake co-host.
How
too?
you doing?
You were supposed to go, what's in the box?
What's going on? Is there more jokes to be
Oh
had?
my God!
What's in the chopper?
So we meet again. It's been a
Hey,
while.
what's up, Fish? Wait, you're Fish, right?
Son
Oh,
of a
you-
bitch.
Oh, damn.
But Fish is here, too.
That you're Fish. That's right.
Oh wait,
No,
guys,
good
Grant's
meeting you.
here. Grant's here too. I didn't
Good
mention
meeting you.
him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever met Fish. Fish and
Fish,
and you got-
co-host,
and you got a
co-host,
female, right?
We
Oh,
do.
dude.
We got a lady.
She's
Really?
one of
she
three.
She is.
She's just
a
the one
new
who stuck
recruit?
around.
Dude, Grant's sitting right next
really?
to you.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, he just called
Shut
you
the
up. He
fuck
just said
up,
you had a
Fish.
vagina, dude.
He's
Oh, my
more
God.
woman than I am.
Oh! Hi-yo!
Are you going to sit there?
Man, you can't do the hail.
Yeah,
Are
you,
you
just,
gonna-
you just sit there and take
Are
it.
you going to
Yeah.
kneel there and take that?
He's
What's this
thinking.
liquid coming from my eyes?
He's
I don't
thinking.
understand it.
That is oil, or in toaster terms, sperm.
Grant, I know now why it is you cry, but it's something I can never do.
Co-host, you didn't bring Goatsy with you.
Nah, Goatee's hanging out at the
Spreading
at
his
the
ass
pad.
cheeks.
Yeah,
That's where
he's,
Goatsy is.
He's having fun with some hot bitches right now.
I don't say that whole thing confuses
I
the hell out
think,
of me.
what?
Did Corey just not understand what Goatsy actually was?
He
and
did not.
No,
misunderstood
way.
each
Corey
other?
and I did not understand what
Okay.
Goatsy was.
So
I
it
had
tur-
no fucking
So
clue.
it turned into a whole other thing before someone pointed out to you that
It
it was
did, yes.
a dude with a distended anus pulling his
Me
butthole
and
up.
Corey and I read
What?
read that. Yeah, we read the comment where it's like, you guys understand what this is, right? If you don't, here's what it is. And we saw it. We both looked.
Don't hit the link. Don't hit the link.
We both looked at each other like Larry and Moe, like what? Huh?
Basically, they're like, oh,
Oh
let's
my
change
God.
our mascot
Yeah.
to like Fistula.
Yeah,
or
that was a
something
that was
gross
a
like that.
she's a man baby moment.
Yeah. Then we just said, nah, fuck it.
And from then on, all we would say to each other is breast larva.
Yes. Wow. But yeah. But hey, Goatsy's hanging out. He's,
You know what?
He's sticking around the. Let's do this.
I am proud of you guys that
Yeah?
you have taken that term and made it your own.
You
We-
really
hey.
have.
Yeah, because I
Well,
hate
you
the
have
old-
rebranded a horrible, horrible thing.
I hate the old.
We were
I
just
mean,
we were just out of ideas and names, so we were like, fuck
Much
it.
in
We-
the way we started off with a Native American or a Buddhist symbol, depending on where you want to go.
Yeah.
And the Nazis totally like took the swastika and made it their own.
Yeah.
You guys have done the same with
are you
Goatsy.
we
comparing
try
them to the
yeah.
Nazis?
We try to.
Listen,
yeah.
everybody.
We try to
You've
be.
made
Yeah.
Goatsy even more evil.
We try to be as cool
You've
as the
made
Nazis, but
Goatsy-
you know we're getting close. I wish we could dress better like them, but
Well,
you know.
well, you guys are more like the good guys in Starship Troopers.
There you go. It's not Nazi. It's just general fascism.
You are that is pretty much what I think about
Yeah.
anytime I listen to Let's Do This. It's Doogie Howser dressed up as a Gestapo.
hanging out with fucking big ass larvas. Yeah, that's
it's like
that's what
fish
we're all
on Halloween.
about. Anyway, hey, good
Well,
seeing you guys
co-host,
again.
we're happy to have you on here.
Yes.
I'm happy to
as
be
we
here.
get into all the current storylines
Yes.
we were trying to do a catch up on.
Yeah.
No one knows more about Green Lantern than you.
This is obviously some strange new use of the word happy that I have not been made aware of.
Well, after the Green Lantern show, where you didn't get a chance to say everything you wanted uninterrupted,
Yeah, oh.
we thought we'd bring you back to give you a second shot.
There's no reason to relive that. No, I don't
Oh,
want.
wait,
I don't
wait.
want to stir up the fans.
We have one more person coming in.
Oh, Ruby!
Hey, Ruby.
We're gonna let the both of you explain.
Co-host Robbie.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna let the both of you explain Dark Reign, and the rest of us are going into the bedroom to bang heroin.
I would like to.
So,
explain
Ruby,
to y'all-
your breast making you any money recently?
I would like to explain to y'all who
Oh.
may not know that giving co-host too much shit is not the best idea on Spill.
I tried to
you will-
warn you guys, but nobody believed me.
There will be whole large groups of enemies bounded against you. There will be angry emails. I woke up with a horse's head in my bed. It was not a pretty scene.
My legion reigns supreme.
They do.
Yes.
They do. And
I'm
I give
very
you
happy for them.
full respect.
Whoever the fuck they are. But yeah, I haven't met any of them, but hey, they're out there.
They love you,
Yeah.
whoever they
And
are.
I'm trying to convince them to love Ruby, but that's
What is thy
Really.
bidding, my master?
you find a naked picture of Ruby, that'd be great. But, you know, well, what else can we do?
And believe me, I've Googled.
Now,
have you tried? Yeah,
I've tried.
We've all
I've
tried.
tried to. I thought I found one, but it wasn't her. It was some other hot chick. But, you know, so-
all right, now,
Actually, after all the talk of biceps on the last issue, I'm not even going to risk that.
now, with Let's Do This, you guys get into some heavy duty professional bullshit,
we get into a lot of duty,
and
Yeah.
I don't know that we can approach that. So we're going to try to get on to the real meat.
the
of
real
episode.
meat. Oh yeah.
Yes, less the bullshit, more the meat.
I don't want to see any meat, but yeah, yeah. What you said, I'm down.
Now, this is all about everybody getting a chance to get their questions in on the comics we've been reading lately.
The kids finally get to have their voice on.
Hey, man, we
the league
we
here?
love to take questions from members of the League Lounge.
I'm glad somebody
even
does.
Though
That's
even
awesome.
though they think we don't.
Honestly, we love our fans. We do.
We do.
They're really good to us.
You better. They fucking give you all kinds of cool shit.
true.
That's true.
Oh.
Damn it.
And, and we love them for that.
Have people ever purchased anything for you?
No.
Oh well.
Now,
I
granted,
guess not enough people listen to your podcast.
Oh no! Granted, people have made their idol me. They've created them and sent them to me like Stephanie.
Yeah,
Well,
just because they have a toaster on their kitchen counter, that's not an idol too.
Hey, look, I'll accept it. All right, anything that with some green eyes and a nice smile.
Dude,
I'll take it.
Stephanie, who is, by the way, a totally awesome chick,
She's fucking
Awesome.
awesome.
made
yes.
a plush co-host. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, she
That
made
is,
it. Yeah,
that is
I mean, hey,
better than the Wii that Cyrus got.
It is. You're right.
and-
Not that I'm giving
yeah,
it back.
Cyrus, why don't
but-
you trade?
No,
I guess maybe it's
I
not
don't
better.
think so.
I guess I haven't shown any of you my plush dead hooker.
Oh, well,
Is that
Oh, my
plush?
goodness.
is that what that was in the
Well,
backyard there?
It's after she was in the backyard for about a week.
That's
Yeah.
his story anyway.
Oh, okay.
They become.
I
very
thought that was one of
squishy
your floaters when you go swimming.
It was a gift.
from.
From your mother?
It cost money. Oh, it's a mom joke.
I worry about my boy. I worry about him.
Co-host, you need to put up your Amazon wish list.
No.
Yeah, like
you know
Fish
what?
over
I
here.
can't do that. I
Whore
cannot,
it out.
I cannot
I
do
think
that. I'm
I
sorry.
think Fish has his up, and
Well, you know,
Even Carlisle finally.
you know
put
what,
his
man?
up.
Yeah, as much as Carlisle was like,
Yeah.
man, you guys are a bunch of whores.
Yeah, he
You
put
know
his
what?
up.
Oh wait, you actually got some stuff, and then
I
his
w-
wish list went up too.
I know.
you know, I was actually kind of disappointed when I heard that he did that. I'm like, wow, okay. I had
You're
about,
my last
I had
beacon of
about
hope.
I had about a little sliver of respect for that guy until
Which he had none for us.
until he said that.
No, he did not. I'll tell you what, though.
I don't need. You know what? I got enough shit. I
A
don't
lot
need
of stuff's
anything
going to be
from the
paid
fans.
back in spades at the spill party, man, because I'm going to party these people out when they come
Yeah,
down
anybody
here
who
to see
shows
us.
yeah,
up,
yeah.
they're
So
not
you-
paying for
Yeah.
nothing.
You ready to take off your shirt? There?
I'm
I'm
gonna buy.
well, no, I said
I'm
I want
buying
them to
drinks
have a
for
good
everybody.
time.
Oh.
Like one big ass drink and about 15 straws.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, what?
But
Nah,
Neon method of generosity.
Are we going to a Polynesian restaurant? Is it going to be on fire?
We're all gonna eat at Benihana, and by all I mean the members of Leog, and you guys can watch. It'll be fun. Those guys, they juggle and do all kinds of
I'm
weird
sure
shit.
there'll be other seating available at some point.
we can tape it and bring it out to them.
Exactly.
It's like,
We'll let you watch it in the lobby. Come on.
Hey, you guys need to invite Ruby. All right, do that for me.
Well,
All right,
definitely.
yeah.
As long as her
We'll
schedule
have a good
frees up.
time, Yeah. I need.
She's always invited.
Yeah. I need something to keep me out of the water when I'm in the pool. So, you know,
What's
And Spill Party, August 22nd, is that still the date?
As far as I know, right?
I thought it was 18.
I think it's
18th.
No, I thought it was the 27th.
Wait, what month?
The Spill
August.
August.
I know it's August.
Spill members know. It's announced on there
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's what's
Yeah.
funny. Like they were asking me, I'm like, you guys know better than I do.
Yeah, I was like, I don't follow. There's like 18 Spill
But
Party
currently,
groups.
there's no official date like posted on the homepage.
No, I
That
thought
would make it
I thought there
easier.
was.
I thought it was the 22nd.
And where is that going to be?
At your house.
That's
At
a
your
good
house.
question.
Oh,
My
snap.
house.
They're actually right. Okay, so we were talking to Corey the other day, and he was going into all sorts of crazy stuff.
He wants to make it a
about
swim party with a barbecue
He
and a
wants-
bar.
he wants
Last
to
I
rent-
heard it was
I just heard
Joker
that.
Park.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he
Zucker Park.
also wants to rent an Alamo theater.
Yeah, he
and
talked
do
about
a
doing
thing.
the Alamo.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you didn't hear him say that?
No.
Yeah, no, he wants to rent one of the Alamo theaters and do a screening
Ah,
thing in
for
there to
fuck's
start
sake.
it with.
Keep it simple.
And then there's going to be
I
a pool
agree.
party at the following day. This is going to be an all-weekend
Hey,
extravaganza.
if he wants to pay
apparently.
for it, I'll be glad to hang around and do my
I'll
best
go.
to entertain everyone. And Allison will be there.
You better go,
I'll
Allison.
go. We'll be
You
there.
better.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Oh, our own Dr. Girlfriend.
Come to Austin.
But you know what? There's a raison d'etre, right? There's a reason we're here.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
go get into that.
Right on. Okay, so now
Let's do. Oh, sorry.
Wrong show.
Stop that.
What are we
I apologize
What's
for
going
that.
on? Yeah,
I apologize.
Nothing extremely hard there. No, it doesn't work.
I'm glad you guys don't open the show like that. I would
Wrong
never listen.
programming.
Now, I'd love to just like us randomly go around and around Robin, but we got questions this time.
Yeah.
And people love when we answer questions. It's not so much that they love when we answer questions, but they hate it when we don't. and they never shut the fuck up about it.
I got all kinds of grief about not mentioning that the Don, the Shogun of Spill, made me the queen of the evil component of the league.
You've mentioned it
Yeah,
like twice
yeah,
now.
Allison,
I didn't
what are
mention
you talking
his
about?
name.
The
Who's
what?
the evil component?
Oh, yeah, we have arch
Not-
enemies.
No,
Yeah.
Oh,
not
you do?
evil, right?
Yeah, who are
Yeah.
actually fans
Wait
of the
a
show.
minute.
but
Wait a
they
minute.
have
Oh,
Because it's a
you have a
superhero.
mirror
If we have
universe.
arch enemies, shouldn't by definition we should know about them and fear them?
Well, it's kind of like the way Dr. Venture acknowledges the Monarch as his arch enemy. He's like, he kind of knows that this guy who's annoying, but he just never thinks of him as an arch enemy.
Is this a couple of Colwins? Is that who you're talking?
Oh wait. Yeah, are those the guys that did the Apple thing on all?
No,
of
no,
our
no,
page?
not Devil's Apple.
Oh,
These are the guys who use the Legion of Doom as their icon.
okay.
A couple cold ones is more like we're the Simpsons and they're the fish police.
Oh, ouch!
Come on.
Owie.
I'm not doing that.
But
If we're the Simpsons, they're the critic.
anyway, mad props to the Don, the Shogun of Spill, for
No, who
making
is
me
good?
Yeah.
your head of state.
And
Nice.
my apologies to G. Willikers from that group if I pissed you off in my FAQ. I'm sorry, I was feeling snarky. that day.
Listen, let's just
Matt,
like a
much
blanket
love.
apology to everybody we've been snarky to, because that happens. It certainly happens to me all the time.
Well, you know, it's the internet.
I've never been.
There's no tones on the internet. You can't imply
I don't think anyone's paying attention to you,
sarcasm
Brent.
through the way you say things, and it's hard to remember that sometimes.
Yeah.
And plus,
I,
Leon has a giant gallon. He has like just a collection of internet kerosene to throw on every internet fire he comes across, and he just almost can't help himself.
I love reading your comments on your Transformers review, by the way.
Well, I didn't make any more. On the review itself, because I posted a thing about how racist the movie was with those two characters. And oh my god, that generated such a big long fight. I was almost late getting here, just reading everything, everybody going back and forth.
When I saw it, I was like going, fight, 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 fight.
He's climbing up on top of the lockers.
but
I have done nothing for which I would like to apologize. Just want to
Bo,
get that out there.
Bo, come on.
You've done it. You just don't wish to
You tear into
apologize.
somebody at the end of every one of these. You make an arch enemy a week.
It's
I know.
Allison and I were talking earlier, and it's just like, you're in this group of friends, and somebody can say, hey, you're a douchebag, and you can be like, yeah, so I'm not as bad as the maggots crawling on your mom's pussy, and it's just like, and it's just like, it's so easy to go to that nuclear option that you get in that mindset that there's some guy like, shooting some spitballs at you, and like, oh, well, I'll just whip out my trusty Thompson submachine gun here and let fly. So,
I have to admit, those have been all my fake aliases on Spill. It's like, you guys suck.
Co-host
Transformer rules.
like the
What are you
80 puppet
thinking?
accounts. You guys are just expecting some sort of super art film.
Yeah,
where you
it's
see the-
Transformers.
Yeah.
What were you expecting?
It's like,
dude,
guys,
you're Gunther? All right.
it's like, yeah, we've never seen a movie before.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're-
yeah.
You like
we're
girls?
rude
You
to
like
all this.
explosions? Come on, dude.
That is one thing. It's like, my apology does not extend to all the people who said about Transformers, like, what? It's about a bunch of robots. What do you expect?
Robots can't be racist
That
because
cartoon-
human beings weren't
Well,
writing their
you would
dialogue.
expect
That cartoon
an
was
Oscar
dumb.
caliber movie. Yeah, sure, it's not the best movie in the world. It's like, I wasn't expecting the best movie in the world. I just wanted to be good or
Yeah.
not insulting.
You know what? I've seen a lot of really great summer movies that I love. If anyone is more permissive toward these films, it's the guys at Spill.com.
Yeah.
And to go like, oh, every time we actually hate one, you guys are my biggest enemy now. Or somebody, I think the user Zach said, it's like, oh yeah, just a bunch of guys, not critics. Sure, my ass. I'm like, oh yeah. Now that there's
I like
a
that
movie
guy.
you like,
I
we're
know.
a bunch of assholes.
It's
Right?
like, yeah, all of a sudden Transformers is a cartoon you guys don't like, so you guys bash it. But if it's Bugs Bunny, you guys are like, oh, Space Jam's the best movie ever.
Dude, we hated Space Jam.
If I ever said that,
You know Corey worked on that,
you
right?
would kill me.
That's right. Corey worked on that, so you watch it.
His
Oh,
scene
shut
was
up.
the best
That's the
scene
greatest
ever.
movie ever. Corey worked on it.
But we do have a topic here. I
We
believe.
do have a topic.
Why
here.
can't
should-
you
we
guys
should
shut
roll-
off
we
your
should-
brain?
And Leon,
should roll into
the host for this episode of this point 5.
All right,
The
I'm just
hostess
gonna,
with
I'm
the
gonna jump
mostest.
into a question here by a longtime member, Spider John.
Spider John's a good guy.
Spider
He
John
is.
is the gentleman of Spill.
And
as
he
far
has
as
an
I'm concerned.
incredibly adorable puppy.
Never heard of
He
him.
does.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Yes, he has Spider Dog.
Spider Dog, incredibly adorable
She
puppy.
has already done some little dogs.
Have you ever been in the league in the league
Yeah.
lounge? There's the Amazing Adventures of Spider Dog and
Yes,
Friends now.
I
as a
bet you he
form
had
of
sex
stuff.
with that dog.
All right, let's see what kind of question he asks.
It is, as someone, I can't remember who said it. Someone posted, "Is this a fetish post?" It's a fetish post. That was the funniest thing I read all week.
What does SGA have to say
Well,
for us?
Spider John opens with, how do you see New Krypton ending? I don't think it can end any other way but bloody and violently in an all-out war.
I somehow, for some reason, foresee a planet exploding. I don't know why. When it comes to something like, say,
Has that ever happened
Krypton.
before?
I
With
don't-
a
I
planet
don't know.
named Krypton?
I know why. I know why.
Why?
I'll make a prediction.
All right.
Brainiac gets all his powers back, New Krypton was built on his technology.
There you go.
He fucking blows that shit out of the sky.
Or
Wow.
or he knew from the beginning that this was all going to
All right,
happen.
well, now-
Because
now-
it's not
Robot,
gonna be
I may have
Yes.
no respect for you, but I respect your logarithms.
Well, now let's just take anybody
Well
back
done.
who's
Yeah.
going like New Krypton.
Yeah, let's talk
what's,
about
what's
what
that
it
all,
is.
what's that all about?
Yeah.
Now, I got turned on to this because of the co-host who was like reading these comics.
Yeah, me too.
Back during the time when Richard Donner was listed as a co-writer and Jeff Johns first took over Action Comics Superman and brought back General Zod with a
right.
kid from Krypton and wrote like the best Superman stories
exactly.
in the last decade, maybe last 2 decades. Where he brought back characters from the movie.
Right, and which I've always, it's always kind of just hurt my feelings that the great Richard Donner films of Superman, why they never even thought about bringing some of those ideas to the comic book to make it interesting.
He did a great job with that. He also did a great job of bringing in some of the characters that kind of disappeared in the 80s.
Oh, yeah, Steve Lombard.
From when Clark Kent went from being a newspaper man to a TV anchor man.
Right.
And was with Morgan Edge Productions, Galaxy
Yeah.
Productions.
Yeah.
And so they brought in the sports writer. Steve, what's his face?
Lombard.
Steve Lombard, who's a total dick, and
Right.
he's like the perfect
It's a total
foil.
jock.
Yeah, he's a jock dickhead.
Yeah, he's a total jock. They brought back Cat from
Cat Grant.
Cat Grant,
A gossip reporter.
Yeah.
with some big bagoo.
Yeah,
fake
big
bagoogas.
tits. But all this stuff like a real throwback to that's what Jeff Johns does the best.
Yeah.
He finds stuff
Right.
from the old Lord of DC and updates it and makes it cool again.
And he does it without the drug-addled craziness of Grant Morrison.
Very, very true. Yeah, and he has a real love of it.
But this series has gone, although those are the guys that started it, Donner and Johns, this has gone on into the hands of James Robinson, who is, for my money, one of the best and most underrated writers in comics right now. He's a guy who did Starman, which was very beloved, but kind of fell by the wayside as far as people remembering it.
Right.
And now he's back on task, and he's really doing that whole like Superman family of comics, and doing an incredible.
And I have to
job.
tell you,
Slam bang.
I was scared shitless when I realized that Jeff Johns wasn't going to be writing a lot of the New Krypton stuff, because I was like, they'll probably just throw this into some hack's hands. We'll see what happens. And I kind of had reservations about the book, but Jesus Christ, it has met all my expectations as far as an interesting story with Superman and the Kryptonians.
Absolutely, it does. And you know the surprising thing is, okay, so I love Jeff Johns, but a lot of the stuff he's doing right now isn't all that lucid, really. It's just kind of so crazy. He's dealing with so many characters and so much shit. He's starting to lose track, I think, of what's going on. And the World of New Krypton is like really centered and focused.
Yeah.
They're starting to like really coalesce like a lot of the stuff that Jeff Johns took the ball and ran with, and giving it to other talented people. Like right now, Jerry Ordway is doing Justice Society. In a couple months, it's going to be Bill Willingham and Matt Sturges, our faves from Fables, are going to take over the title. It really looks like they're working it so that he is only going to be doing Green Lantern for Blackest Night.
He should be.
That is awesome.
He should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's built up a lot of stuff, and as it is, okay, the guy who took over Green Lantern Corps, I don't remember his name, but
Tomasi, Peter Tomasi.
I'm actually not that pleased with what he's done the last couple of issues.
I wouldn't go with that for you. I've actually, I haven't read it for like the last 3 issues, but I enjoy Tomasi.
Are you talking about the Prelude to
Prelude to Blackest Night.
Okay, I haven't read any of those.
I'm actually a little I'm reading all that Green Lantern stuff, and it's a little, it's stretching itself a little thin right now. In fact, what they really need to do is focus, like, by killing a lot of characters is what they need to do.
Well, yeah, but it sounds like anybody they kill is just going to come back as one of the Black Lanterns. Right.
Okay, but maybe kill them without that.
Is Jeff Johns going to be off of The Flash?
No.
Oh, no.
He is definitely
Well, he's
doing
writing the Rebirth
Okay,
run.
okay.
Yeah, which is, okay, the Rebirth run. It's,
Are we done with New Krypton?
Well, no, I'm just saying we're dancing around. It's a
Okay.
0.5, but
Yeah.
I'm not thrilled with it.
I'm not through with it either. Matter of fact, I read the first issue and wasn't that crazy about it and decided to try the second one. And after the second one, I went to Tribe Comics and said, drop this book. I'm not interested.
Wow.
And I would like to say, Lan, I have stuck with it, and because I knew, if you go back and you read some of Jeff Johns' earlier work, like the Green Lantern, bringing back Green Lantern, really reinventing the JSA, although he had a lot of help with James Robinson from that.
Sure.
It starts off a little slow because, I mean, the man wants to tick off some things and really get stuff rolling. It looks like he's doing the same thing for Barry's Mythos that he did with Hal Jordan's. When Hal Jordan first came back, I read the first 2 issues and I was like, I'm sorry, man, you're not going fast enough for me. Now I love it because I look back and they start bringing in his family and those relations, and that's what's starting to happen. In the 3rd issue, you're starting to get, like, you're getting more Irish, you're getting more Wally, and you're getting, like, this idea of the Speed Force and what it does. I'm looking forward to seeing where he's going with it. I'm liking Rebirth. I really am. It's just slow. It's going to translate much better into trade paperbacks. That's me.
Well, I would agree with you that I thought the 3rd issue was better because Tribe Comics, like I told them drop the book for me, and they put the 3rd issue in my hand and said, look, take it for free. Because we want you to read this and like it.
And that's why we love Tribe Comics, Man-Check, Austin.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going to Tribe to tell you know what? I don't want this Flash bullshit. Get it out of here. Get it out. I'm leaving.
Well, here's
I'm never coming back.
I mean, I'm not saying it's like it's a fluke, because back when these guys used to work at Dragon's Lair, they used to do the same thing to me. And now that they own their own store, they do it all the time. They put the new issue of G.I. Joe Cobra in my hand. And I was like, yeah, I heard good things about this. They're like, you know what? Take it and read it. If you like it.
I always got some guy in the back telling me, hey, this isn't a library. This isn't a library. You buy.
Those guys are awesome. And I did think the 3rd issue of Flash Rebirth was better. Especially,
it was better, but it ended where I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, I got to agree. Now, I don't want to hog the mic because I know Grant just read these recently.
Oh, so, Grant, you read?
I try. I dabble.
When he's not playing with his vagina, yes.
The last time I saw Grant, he was telling me how excited he was about the new Archie comic and how Archie was getting married.
You lay the fuck off, Archie robot.
They don't even publish Archie anymore.
Wow. All right. Well, yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Archie's getting married, motherfucker. Shut the fuck up.
Well, I didn't like the first one at all. In fact, I read halfway through it and I was like, fuck this, and I just put it down. Then you guys kept talking about it, and I was like, well, it's Jeff Johns, I guess I should try. So I plowed through the second one, which I also thought was just as bad. But the third one, there's stuff that deals with the Black Flash, and I started thinking, oh wait, Black Flash, kind of like the Black Lanterns, kind of like, I was like, what is he, infected with parallax again? And I just thought, man, he's just really tying these two together. And then all of a sudden it showed the end of the third one, and I was way off base. But
there's a Black Flash?
There's a reverse Flash.
Yeah.
Well, and also, Parallax is Hal Jordan, Green Lantern.
He turns into the Black Flash.
Yeah, no, that's what I say. Black Flash. With everything that's going on right now, the fact that Jeff Johns is on both, it's hard to not say, is this going to tie together on some point? And not to mention, okay, what's going on with going back to New Krypton right now in Green Lantern, in Green Lantern Corps, there's a whole thing where an entire planet that Sinestro is originally from has had their sun change from a red sun to a yellow sun.
Ooh.
And now all of a sudden, every single member of this planet has Superman level powers.
Are you serious?
That just happened. And now the Green Lanterns are trying to organize them and go, look, y'all have to chill out with your hatred and I want to just fight thing. And we'll talk about training and like being ready to fight against the Sinestro Corps. And it's like, you know what? All this is starting to feel like it's really tying in together.
And there already is a quote-unquote superpowered Green Lantern. Ion is from Daxam, which is the same planet that Mon-El is from.
Which they've been doing a lot with right now.
Exactly. Yeah, Daxam is featuring really, I mean, obviously Clark Kent / Superman is off Earth and on New Krypton, so we have Mon-El filling his shoes in Metropolis.
He's and his run is in the Superman, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's Superman. Yeah, I've been collecting, but I haven't been able to.
Yeah,
read
he was a member of the Legion of Superheroes.
He's a member of the Legion of Superheroes, and he
Does he have another code name like Superman?
Just like Kal-El and his Mon-El, but Mon-El never had another name.
He predated Superman, or he kind of. Like, he showed up in Superboy and ended up going into the Legion of Superheroes, but he was a guy that showed up and for a while, Superboy, Clark Kent as a teenager, thought that he was his long-lost brother.
Yeah, that's right.
And he found that he discovered him on a Monday, and he was like, I found you on a Monday, and I'm Kal-El, so you can be Mon-El. And but he was actually from a planet called Daxam, which is just like they're very similar to Kryptonians, except lead acts upon them the same way kryptonite acts upon.
Which he's poisoned now by.
With all these tying in together, does the Batman one tie in?
Well, that might tie in with Blackest Night.
A large
it seems
pile
like
of
Blackest Night.
scrambled eggs.
But that's something else.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on to a new question because we could be on this for a while. Let's give the other side a little chance.
Forever.
All right. This comes from Raphael, and I met Raphael at San Diego Con,
the Ninja Turtle
Comic-Con last year. I knew somebody was going to make a Ninja Turtle reference.
Oh well, you knew it was going to be me, right?
That just cracks me up because when I hear
I'm
the
just
name
trying to spice
Raphael,
things up a bit.
He did have a pair of size on him. Oddly enough.
When I hear Raphael, all I can think of is like the actual artist that the turtle was named after.
That's what I hear too.
Yeah.
Do you talk like a New Yorker? Hey, motherfucker, what's up?
You like pizza.
I hate to sound like the old man, but I grew up with an art history background. And people talk about Michelangelo and Raphael. I'm not thinking turtles.
Anyway, Raphael, cool dude. I hope to see him out in San Diego Con. But he asked the question, "Hey, Leah,
so you hope to see the Renaissance
stop
artist at San Diego Con? Because I don't think that's going to happen.
The guy's like dead, dude.
Hey, man, the underdog lady shows up." Who knows? The true Raphael could be there.
It's more realistic than a giant turtle was.
I love the doors you did of the Medici Castle, and I love your run on Captain Adam as well.
Stop being like Carlisle and telling us who your friends with.
Yeah,
dude.
what's
Shut
this
up.
guy?
Oh man!
I'm gonna have to sweep up the names of all the Renaissance artists here with a fucking broom.
5 minutes later, we'll get to this guy's question.
Yes.
Hey, Leah,
Or now.
what do you foresee is the next logical arc for Daredevil? The Brewbreaker run is cool, but after Bendis Malieve wrapped up their story encompassing all the shit that's been happening to him over the years, I just don't see where else it can go.
So obviously he's not reading it right now by saying that. It seems like, wow, really? You're missing this whole the Kingpin has come back, but in a way that is really new and different. Like, hey, Daredevil, I actually really want to work with you, and I have a good argument why you should work with me.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's the feeling that like maybe the Kingpin is actually working for the Hand.
Maybe, but really? You really think the Kingpin would work for the Hand?
Even if he was, it would still be a new and fresh take.
Wait, are you telling me there's a character called the Hand?
No.
There's a group called the Ninja.
A group called the Hand?
That's where
the
Elektra
foot
comes
from Ninja
from.
Yeah,
Turtles.
It's not the non-existent thing that you don't have that you put around your non-existent nuts.
I was say that's.
Yeah, you're more familiar with the Foot, which
That
was a parody of the
sounds,
Hand.
You're more familiar with
My foot up your ass.
You're more familiar with the attachment.
Enough with
I
the
am
foot
proud
and
of my
Ninja
attachments.
No, the Hand is a very big part of Marvel Comics as far as the Japanese Hydra or whatever. You know.
They
It's
killed
the
Elektra,
Yakuza
motherfucker.
of
Yeah.
the fictional world.
Oh, from the
They killed Elektra.
Elektras from that
Yeah.
guy?
They killed Elektra, brought her back.
They trained her,
Their whole
killed
thing
her.
is they kill people and bring them back, and then when they bring them back under their control.
How do they
So,
bring them back?
Zombies.
magic?
Because they're Japanese.
Magic dust?
They're Japanese. They can do whatever
they
they
can
want.
do that. Yeah, that gets.
Ancient
Much like
Japanese
Nakata,
secret.
much like our fan Nakata, they
It's
have
a-
ultimate power.
They bring them back. They bring them back with Calgon.
And Tiger Balm.
Chinese secret.
They bring him back with hand jobs, stupid. Oh, I
always
get
brings
it.
me back.
I get it.
Wow.
I get it.
But I gotta admit that I really like
Massage
where
parlor
Grant, don't look at me like that.
I was a little
Why are
conf-
you smiling at me?
I was a little confused lately where where Brubaker was going with Daredevil. There was a point that he lost me with this whole female bullseye thing. I was like, okay, it just seems like you're looking for a storyline that isn't there. But then he brought it all together. The last 3-4 issues have been fucking tight.
Yeah, at the time when you were telling me like it wasn't working for you, I was like, "What are you talking about?" Not realizing that I had read ahead of you.
Yeah, you had read ahead of me, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And once they brought Kingpin back into the story, and they're really getting into him not as the guy who, not in any way they ever have before, not as the guy who's worried about running a criminal enterprise, but as just a human being. And
Yeah.
it's
Is
like,
it-
wow, this
That
is
shit
really
does sound
cool.
pretty
Is
fucking
this
tight.
still in that
It is pretty
Return of
tight.
the King thread?
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's really good and it's totally worth checking out. It's
I read
Brubaker.
the first couple of that.
It's Brubaker. It's worthy of just. I mean, goddamn it, Ed Brubaker is one of the best guys writing in comics right now.
He really is. I mean, I always say about Brubaker, he takes too long to tell a story. Like he always goes 1 or 2 issues longer than a story arc should take.
This is true.
But they always end up being great stories.
And honestly, his stuff reads better in trades than it does as it goes per issue, where you're like, okay, you're reading it all at once.
Doesn't
and
everything
it doesn't
read
feel
better
right.
in trades?
Pretty
I
much.
mean,
Yeah,
Generally
pretty much.
speaking, yeah.
And and if we're talking Brubaker, I would just take it aside to go like, hey, if you like Brubaker, read his new series Incognito. I absolutely love that.
No, that's all right.
Incognito and Criminal are both
fantastic.
really incredible.
Yeah.
Got to be.
Do you have another question for
Oh,
us?
do I have another question? We got
Six
six pages
pages
of questions.
We got questions that sell and give away.
Yeah, I wish we had stopped to organize what are the better.
So what you want to do right now is get on eBay, and we are taking bids for whose question we answer next.
The next person who buys me the Green Lantern with Light Up Power
Yeah,
Ring will
get
get their
on
question answered.
Amazon and buy.
Leog does not take bribes.
Not yet. The next question I want Fish to answer because I haven't been graced with his wit
His
and
beautiful voice.
his awesomeness. Yes.
Well, okay, I'm gonna jump into one here. I think it's about TV.
There you go, Fish.
Let's see. I'd like to know what season finales you liked and the ones you thought were kind of weak.
Fish is thinking.
Oh, this is asked by Shane Davies. Also, if anyone in the league watches Supernatural, okay, let me just start out right now.
I don't watch that
That we
game
had
shit.
like several people write in about Supernatural, and no, none of us watched that show.
I watched the
You know
first
what?
season, thought it was lame.
I watched some of it. Some of the episodes I saw were pretty cool, but I just didn't care.
You know
I
what?
mean,
There's
it's-
people I actually really trust who keep telling me, yes, the first season is lame. Totally agree.
Yeah.
And about 3-4 episodes into the second season, all of a sudden it gets really interesting. And as a Buffy fan, I can tell you I hear what you're saying, and I will go back and give it another shot.
See, that's why I gave it a try, because I thought, okay, finally, something to fill the Buffy-shaped void in my soul.
Yeah.
And it just never worked.
Well, the problem with me was mainly, and the thing that nobody ever says, I think the two main actors are terrible.
Ew! Yeah, boo.
Like,
Boo
so
is-
bad.
Isn't
yeah.
one of them the guy that used to be on Smallville?
Yes, the guy who was in My Bloody Valentine, which one of the reasons why I kind of avoided that show when it first aired was because he was on Smallville and he was the worst actor on Smallville, and I just didn't care for it. But like I said, I watched a few of those shows. I like it when they use like the urban legends. Like they'll throw in some stuff that seems familiar, and those shows are usually fun. It's just when it gets into it's like the X-Files, I guess. When it gets into the whole alien conspiracy thing, you just don't give a shit. But I think some of the standalone episodes are pretty cool.
Actually,
And
I'm the other way around. I actually liked more the episodes that tie into the really creepy thing with their their mom
Yeah.
who just set on fire spontaneously. That opening episode is fucked up. That's
It's
some
a
creepy
little
shit.
creepy.
And then you keep waiting for it to come back to that, and you're like, oh man, it's a goddamn werewolf in Alaska. Who gives a shit?
Werewolf. Sorry, it's been a while.
hey,
And I did want to break in and say, this is all well and
Yes.
good, for whatever you feel is but finales.
Wait, just before. I mean, you guys are actually
But
talking
wait,
about
there's more.
Supernatural because I didn't think anybody had anything to say. Now, Shane Davies says it's taken bits of Preacher and Hellblazer.
I don't
in
know.
the show.
Did it?
Did you
could.
guys
I
notice?
haven't.
Okay.
I haven't. Yeah.
All
Like I
right.
said, I watched the first
Haven't
season
been
was
caught
like,
up.
and really, it's this. It's not that the scripts are that bad. It's just that I could not get past the acting of the main two guys.
All
That
right.
was what
I
really-
honestly
They're
told
not-
myself I was going to try at least just to check out the second
Sure.
season, just to see. I mean, just to see what the hell. It's usually
All
this
right.
summer. I don't know. There's nothing to watch.
Dead horse
All right.
beaten.
Yes.
Season finales.
Speaking of... sorry.
No, I'm sorry. No. I do have my generally I really hate finales, especially like my favorite like series like the Joss Whedon's like that was kind of just that well that's not a finale. I mean that's a season
That's season finale.
Yeah,
That-
okay.
Might as well be.
not series finales, just season finales.
Okay,
Yes,
well, I'm going to as far as season finales, the best is Buffy season 6. Period. End of story.
Lost.
But I'm gonna say like for series finales, like the only two or the only three that I can think of that really gave me any kind of closure were Barney Miller.
Yeah, nice one.
Because it's great. Because it's him going out of the precinct house, which is being closed, and just Barney turning out the lights, and it's beautiful.
Wow, that's the same as Oz.
Yeah, that's who they copied from. MASH.
Nice one. One of the best.
But yeah, where's the payoff not in that? It's just it's incredible. And Justice League Unlimited. Actually, that whole
Damn
story,
it, you stole mine.
Yeah, where they knock it out, and they're just like, the villains and the superheroes cast off like an invasion by apocalypse, and then they get back to the headquarters, and the villains are like, well, wait a minute, you're gonna put us all in jail after all of this? And all the heroes look at each other and they're like, 5-minute head start, and all the villains take off, and then it's just like this. It shows the steps outside the headquarters, and it's all of the heroes.
It is pretty funny,
down, and it is so fucking bad.
You see those villains run like bitches.
Yeah, it's so fucking totally. Cool.
As far as best finales go, my two favorites are, well, just recently, The Shield.
Oh, yeah.
While I don't think it's absolutely perfect, the main story, the one we really care about, could not have been nailed more. It was just astonishing. It's
I mean, without going into any
haunting.
detail about it, because Grant is still watching it.
Yeah.
It just shakes you to your core, and it makes you go like, "This is how you end a series."
And it's not one of those like
Is there something ambiguous
let's just be
about it?
shocking and weird or like let's blow everyone away or something like that. It's artful and beautiful, and it fits every character, all the main characters in there perfectly. It's very well done. The other one for me is Angel. I love the end of Angel.
Really?
Yeah, I love
All right.
it. I thought it was perfect.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, as far as for what they had.
yeah, but well, because they knew that was it. They were like, you know what? We'd like another season. We're not going to get one. So here's how we're going to end it. And it has the single best ending line of any show ever, with Angel going, I don't know about you guys, but I want to fight the dragon, which will, hell, I'm almost ready to tattoo that on.
Is the question
if you get it tattooed in like Syndron on your back, you will be the ultimate.
Grant, you sound like you're ready to answer the actual question,
Is
which
the
is about
question
season
series
finales. No, it's not about
Okay,
series
'cause
finales.
You
that'd
can
be-
talk about Lost. It's okay.
No, because that would be 6 Feet Under. But
yes,
yeah,
That's true.
That-
No,
you're
no,
absolutely,
By
you're
far the
absolutely
best
right.
That's probably
finale.
number
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Series finale, yeah.
Did you
we're
ball-
done with the
did you-
series
did you
finale.
Did you cry your heart out?
I did, and
You did?
I was really embarrassed.
See, everyone fucked me over because everyone was like, when you see this season, you're going to cry like you never cried
Man,
before.
I didn't
And
want to, and I was so mad
I
at
was
myself
hoping
for
to.
it, but
I was waiting
did.
for it, but
Really?
no.
What,
I
with
didn't-
6 Feet Under,
I
you
didn't
didn't-
cry. I did not
You're
cry.
I thought
Literally
that
dead
song was
inside.
just perfect.
Then I realized I'm a robot and I can't
Exactly,
cry.
you're a heartless piece of
That's
machine.
right.
No, that song I actually made a point to go like buy it off iTunes so I
Sighs,
could listen to it.
Breathe or something.
Yeah.
But Leon, you and I had been talking about a series finale, Breaking Bad.
Yeah, the season finale for Breaking Bad.
And
What, season
talk
one?
about one that
Season 2.
The entire season was incredible, only to have a season finale that is sort of disappointing.
And the reason it's disappointing is because like there's so many shows where the episode before the actual season finale is the better show. Like with the Sopranos, every year their pre-season finale was the best show of the season.
Entourage did this too.
Yeah, and Breaking Bad, the show before the last show was off the charts. It's like you couldn't have asked for a better show. Now the problem with the season finale for me with Breaking Bad is that all through the season they kept teasing something. All but 2 episodes teased to something big happening, and then when the actual thing finally happened, you're like, oh, well, you totally misled me on that. It's not even
It was
nearly
really
as big
a gotcha.
as you built it. Yeah, it was a gotcha.
And it's a gotcha that really strays from the very scientific elements that the show's based on to go into some weird coincidental supernatural bullshit that is just like, why did you do that to the show?
And the sad thing for me is it was an excellent episode up to that. I mean, except for that one part, it was another awesome episode.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was parts of that were just intense, but when you take it as a whole, you're just kind of like, what'd you guys just do to me?
Honestly, it was just that very ending that made you go like, huh? Oh,
Yeah.
why'd you do that? Because everything up to that was just so like, oh,
Because
I saw this
everyone
coming.
in their mind, as they watched it, had 15 better ways.
Yeah.
It's okay to give the viewer what they expect when it's something as badass as what we expected it would
Right.
be. When you have to go, gotcha, motherfuckers. It's
Yeah.
just kind of like, why?
Hey,
Yeah,
do you guys want to go in the next room and discuss this?
Well, no, I mean, it's just that's
I don't know
that's
what you guys
That's what
talking
sucks
about.
is like you guys
We're
don't
trying to
know.
be very vague.
I've never even
we don't
heard
want
of
to
this
spoil
show.
it for you, but like those.
Can I take my hands off my ears yet?
Yeah, you can. I'm
stop.
just saying,
We'll stop.
like that last 3 years of Sopranos, where they would go like, "Oh, you thought we were gonna kill somebody, but we didn't." You're like, "Oh, you got me."
The joke's on you, dummy.
After 7 episodes in a row, you're like, "Okay, are you ever gonna kill somebody?"
We already devoted an entire episode to this, but
Lost.
we can at least not
Well, wait
mention
a
it.
minute.
without-
Mention
we
it,
did-
dude.
You
Fuck
talked. Let's let Allison talk.
It's only gonna
Allison.
Allison knows Lost
Okay.
and missed our episode. It's
I
sad.
did. I missed it. It was some kind of weird miscommunication.
Even though she might want to
thing,
talk about something else other than Lost.
I-
just
I
pointing
do.
that out.
Yeah, as if.
Yeah, come on.
Let's hear it, baby.
I'm not a fan of Kate. I'm not a Kate fan. I'm not impressed with Freckles.
Most of us aren't, but she's
No.
She, you know what? Yeah, I being on
don't-
that island. I forgot about how hot she was. Say for that one episode when she was in the supermarket, and I was like, well, maybe I might reverse my position on Kate.
she's so hot, but damn, they write her annoying.
Yes.
But I don't think that was
Yeah,
Allison's
she's
point.
annoying.
Oh, I'm sorry, Allison. Your point.
And I like Juliet slightly better. Just because she seems to be an actual person
Well,
and
she's
not
sensible.
some collection of
Neuroses.
neuroses.
She's awesome.
So, but I kind of think that the finale was a little weird. It was a little like, I need more.
I think it's the same
I
way
need
they
more.
end every episode, though.
Yeah.
Well, and
A big
literally
boom.
a big explosion at the end of every single Lost season ends with one of the major plot elements of the season blowing up.
With a big
Yeah.
purple explosion.
Whether
Big
it
purple
be the
explosion.
hatch, the
boat.
the swan,
Yeah.
the boat,
Or
Yeah.
finding somebody
I just-
dead,
The island
and you're like,
itself.
what?
What? Yeah, I needed something to look forward to for next season, and there wasn't a lot of immediate questions.
True. I mean, there's so many questions there, but there wasn't like, you got to know this, but there's so much to go like, oh my God, what is
No,
this
no, no.
now?
I want them to start answering things, which there's
Which
a
they
lot
did.
to
I mean,
answer.
all last season was all about answers.
I was going to say last two seasons have been like, once he hit that third season hump, people are always like, oh, they never answer anything. They just keep asking more questions than
need
they
to-
answer. I was like, you stop watching too soon because once it hits over that hump,
Yeah.
it gets exactly the opposite. Where now some of the longtime fans are going, I'm a little sad because they
answered
it's
everything.
clear that it's coming to
No.
an end because they're answering
Well,
everything.
yeah, there's that, but there's still so many unanswered questions. I'm on the Spill Lost forum like every day, and
Yes, we're aware
There's-
that you more or less run that.
there's so many people. There's Scribs and Dr. Death.
You are the spill face of Lost as you
Like,
made
yeah,
yourself.
I mean, everyone has their opinions of it, and it's just so fun to talk about it. And
I really
you
need to
just
download
get in
the
there
last
to,
season.
to realize there's so many mysteries that are
No.
yet unresolved. The whole Jacob and
No. I
Nemesis
agree. I agree.
reveal.
There's lots of questions to answer, but there's nothing immediate.
Yeah.
Because they've pretty much like put a giant period in the sentence with the orchid exploding.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well-
just saying there should have been a comma.
That's
Well,
the thing is
it
that-
is a comma because you know there's another season.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah,
you guys.
but-
And
Hey,
that's what
hey.
makes it
Now, we've had like 2 or 3 Lost podcasts.
three now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to
Okay.
dip into it.
Okay.
I know, but if you watch the comments on the pages, every single Leog, for
People
like
go
the
like,
last
why don't you
6
talk about
months,
Lost?
he finds a way. Grant finds a way to go like, yeah, I'd talk about Lost more if they'd let me, but the goddamn fascists at Leog won't let us have our own Leog Lost show.
It really is
totally agree with
bullshit,
you guys.
We need more Lost.
Fish, my man. I know you're
I was about
a
to
college
say.
kid, or
About to be.
about to be a college kid, and you've been studying, and maybe you haven't had time for TV, but you went to
Mr.
that.
Van
No,
Wilder.
the only show I actually like follow that kind of like is currently on air is The Office.
Oh,
And
I
that
love
season
The Office.
Yeah, that season finale was a long time ago, but
Oh, but it's brilliant.
it's been
so good.
it's been so much better than like last couple of seasons. I think a lot funnier. I really think they should wrap up the show though.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Just like
What
especially
season is it
You're
on?
through with it,
I think
huh?
it's like 5 or 6.
You know what? I
Is
think
it?
you're right.
You're
too.
done banging
Because
that
honestly,
chick.
no,
huh?
it's just like as soon as like the end of season 2 is when Pam and Jim started like really like show their feelings for each other, whatever, and that's like the main like conflict in the plot of the show. And now that that's kind of done, it's like they're going more into Michael and not as interested, and it's just kind of like it's not as interesting anymore. Even though it's funny, it's just like I
have to
care as
argue
much.
that this was probably one of the most brilliant seasons they've had ever.
Yeah.
With the whole breaking off of the Michael Scott Paper Company, I just thought it was so genius. But I can understand that you want to end on a high note rather than where it could go. And I'm always
honestly
worried.
just like if it goes any darker or they take like a dramatic turn, I'll be more interested. But right now, it's kind of just more like it feels more upbeat.
See, it's such an ensemble that they could not focus on Jim and Pam for a while. Like they had with Michael and Holly. Was that his
Holly.
girlfriend?
Yeah, Holly.
Like all that stuff was so brilliant.
But it's kind
Are
of
they not doing
like,
any of that anymore? I haven't seen any of the last season.
Man,
Office,
this season started out. I mean, like it was pretty good, but it started out so funny. Like
Yeah.
especially like that episode where they had a Michael Scott roast where he invited them to have a roast. And it's one of those where I'm
it
like,
went one by one. And
yeah, give people like the idea of a roast sounds funny
Yeah.
until you really realize like, wow, it's like all these people who are going to get up and talk shit about you, even though they're joking.
Yeah.
They're going to say true shit.
wait.
And he's got a fragile ego to begin with,
No,
but it was
wait.
his idea. So when they get up, he's all kind of laughing at first, and you can just watch his face
Wait,
cracking.
I've seen all the episodes of The Office, and I don't remember Ricky Gervais ever doing that.
Oh, shut up!
What?
But it is kind of like Metallica, where they should have died in a bus accident a long time ago.
Hey,
And like left off the last. I don't know.
I don't know if I would have actually uttered
come
those
on.
words,
No,
but you're
because
not wrong.
so fun.
I
You're
think
so
the
cool that you
season-
brought that up.
I still think this season is one of the best ones.
Oh yeah,
So
No, I
think,
agree.
I think they could end now, and it would be on a hot,
Yeah.
an incredibly.
That's
high
what I'm
note.
saying.
See, I always thought that the
I
whole
wouldn't
Pam
want to
Jim
dive
relationship, I
forward
thought
this
that
season.
should have been the last episode if they ever
yeah.
got together. You know,
Wasn't that kind of the subtle
Yeah.
point of the thing? Like
Yeah.
even the main character is really like,
Yeah.
okay, do we really care what happened to the arc with him? We just don't want him to end terribly. We want him to maybe get a little bit of a clue, right?
Yeah.
But we want Pam and Jim to end
But
up together.
You know, the thing is, though,
That's the same way they ended
it kind of reminds me of like the whole Moonlight thing, as far as
Moonlighting.
moonlighting, where I've never seen that show, but
you'd love it.
I knew the premise, but every fan of that show, it seemed like they were always disappointed whenever the two characters got
oh sure,
together,
Yeah.
because that's when the show
only
just
show that has ever
lost
pulled
its
it off
point and
is
it
Cheers,
sucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
where they like
Oh, yeah.
all the sexual tension between Sam and Diane forever, and then when they got together, they actually made it funny because they were such a sickening couple. And then it was like, well, man, this is going to wear thin. How are they going to do it? Then they had them break up, and they hate each other, but still had to work together.
the
so
only
it was even
sitcom.
funnier than before.
The only sitcom.
Yeah, the only sitcom.
Because to be fair, Lost has made it work.
well, okay, true, true, but only sitcom that's ever made it work.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to move on.
Oh wait, I didn't get to
Wait.
give mine.
No.
I didn't actually technically get to give mine.
Oh,
Allison
hey, Allison,
wins.
of course, the
It's-
lovely Allison.
It's okay because we're not going to talk about it long, but I am excited about Fringe.
I knew you were going to say that. I was trying
Friends
to
is
move
still on the
before that.
air? I thought
Fringe.
Oh, okay.
Fringe. I want to see
watching the
where the
DVDs.
whole like.
And Ross and
Secrets
Rachel,
is- yeah.
who's going to turn
Okay,
into a werewolf?
Here's the big mystery of Fringe. The lead actress, the poor man's Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Has she become any more likable?
That is, I think she sucks as a casting choice,
Yeah.
but I like the Secret Society kind of.
Yeah, no
twist,
offense, fish, but she's a
observer.
cold fish. Yeah,
She
no
is.
question about it.
She is a one-trick pony.
I'm
She
not
has
trying to
one
joke. I just
facial
wanted to use that expression.
Yeah.
That's the best term to use. You're just like, wow, you're really dull and boring. That's actually
She does.
one of the big things that turned me off of the show was that.
She's just real squinty.
Well,
That's just it.
They're trying to build up a relationship on that show. I mean, come on, let's face it. This is a ripoff of the X-Files, no
Totally.
question. And they're trying to build up that sort of like chemistry, and it's just totally non-existent.
But they're
it's just
and
not
they're,
there.
yeah, they're overusing the trope, and
Yeah.
you know, because it's like
you guys
Gillian
starting
Anderson's
Friends?
cat, you know, Scully. Scully was, you know, there was a definite warmth to her.
Grant
you
just
know,
lit up
just
like a
like
Christmas
on,
tree.
on Moonlighting, Sybil Shepherd's character had a warmth to her.
Yeah.
Even Diane on fucking
Yeah.
Cheers had a warmth to her. And in this, they're trying to set up like, you know, David Boreanaz and what's her face, Zoe Deschanel's sister on Bones. They're trying to do that same thing, but there's no warmth in her.
Yeah.
You're just like, I don't want you to get together with anybody because Jesus Christ.
Because
your pussy could freeze a
you would snap that shit.
Frigidaire.
freeze a fucking Vaticaso. What the fuck?
Frigidaire.
Hit it,
totally.
Grant.
But
Are you a Fringe fan, Grant? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
what I'm
he's the other
saying
one.
is that I want to know about this whole part of her icy, chilly coldness could be that she was in this whole recruited secret
Fuck
spirit.
yes. That's
conspiracy
why.
thing.
Okay, she's as boring as hell. But the other two characters
Yes.
are Pacey and the dad from the Return
Yeah.
of the King.
Denethor.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Those
Denethor.
guys are
Son
so
of Ecthelion.
great on the
They're
show.
great.
And what's his name?
Yeah, it's funny because I look at those guys like
Mr. Abaddon.
they're
Totally.
like Simon
It's
Bar
funny.
Sinister and Son.
They do
they
get
they
a little...
play off each other brilliantly, and I think they're so fun on the show. And they write her in a way. I don't think it's her fault, but they make her so boring. And she's supposed to be just so closed and cut off and very like analytical about everything. And it's just like, give me some more character development that makes you interesting. But their few attempts have just been lame.
Honestly,
never know.
it's a Fox show. It's on Tuesday night. It's on Tuesdays now. I predict mid-season it's going to move to Friday, and then that means you're gone.
Oh, except for when X-Files was on Friday. That was their prime time.
And
But they actually managed.
Why do I feel like I need to watch
They
this
actually
show?
managed to get old people to watch the X-Files.
well,
surprisingly enough.
okay, very similar to X-Files and Scully. And yes, she was kind of, closed off and analytical, but there was that secret sexy
yeah.
warmth and
the
great
red
shoes.
Man, I love Dana Scully.
But
Oh,
that
really?
kind of turned around. At first, she was a little mousy and frumpy. It was only when she started wearing the great shoes that whole secret sexy side came out.
Really?
So maybe they can.
And every guy in this room is going, she wore shoes?
Dude,
All I know is when I was 13, there was two people I looked up on the internet. Both Andersons, Pamela and Jillian.
Jillian
And I just
Anderson.
couldn't get enough of them.
Amen,
was-
brother.
And I
Well,
thought
Wow,
Jillian
that's
was
a nice
yeah.
duality, I guess.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, Jillian
I like
Anderson
it.
wore shoes. She had to. Their heels were like 6 inches high.
They were gorgeous.
Yeah, she's like 5 feet tall.
Yeah, she's
But,
like tiny.
But I'm saying
And-
maybe
You guys
they'll
just talking
have.
about
and the
women's
company's a
shoes right
monster.
now.
He's
All I
he's
have to say to
6'3".
that is, really?
But maybe they'll have like a secret sexy shoes moment with the squinty
Well, I-
blonde
I
chick from
think-
And
French.
maybe she has a beer-shaped like coaster thing on her head.
She's
That's
cute,
perfect.
but she's just dead in the face. It's like she has no soul to
I know.
her. It's like
Squinty.
if Kate was even more boring from Lost.
Do you guys like?
Let's
Okay,
let's talk
co-host.
about more horrible.
Enough with
horrible
Fringe.
people.
Like, we're talking to
Okay.
the only two people in the world who watch that show.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
lost
yeah.
on that.
Co-host, you
Any
got
of
a
you guys
show?
watch America's Top Model? Because I
All right,
thought the
so
last season
Nakado
finale was-
asked.
All right, so
No. All right. There's only one I can think of. Justice League was taken away from me, but I don't know if this was a season finale or if it was one of those weird mid-season things where they stopped the show. But Battlestar Galactica, when that bitch was in charge of the Pegasus,
Yeah.
and she had a few of the people from the Galactica.
That would be
in
Lucy
prison.
Wallace.
Wait,
No,
no.
Ensign Rowe from Star
Ensign
Trek.
Rowe. Yeah, there you go.
I always
yeah.
get them confused. Never mind.
Where she
She's
was
everywhere.
about to execute some people.
Michelle Forbes.
Thank you.
Because some of the guys from the Galactica and fucking Edward James Olmos' character was just like, you know what, fuck that shit. We're gonna go attack the Pegasus. That whole scene at the very end where you see the ships, they're just about to it's about to go down. The shit's about to hit the fan. That right there just got me so fucking pumped. I don't know
That
if
was
it was an
amazing.
actual season finale, but fucking A.
I'm not sure if it was either, but it was a great episode.
It was, and I was like, man, I'm ready for this shit to go down. Let's fucking do this. And then when I saw the to be continued, all I said was "fuck," and that was it.
I know. Leon is dying to get onto the question, and I am too. But I just want to throw this out there. I meant to say earlier, as far as this, not best finale, but best ever season ender for me is always going to be I am Locutus of Borg, prepare to be assimilated. That dun 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 dun, and Riker says,
Number 1, meet me in the ready room.
"No,
Naked.
He
Make
says,
it so.
fire," and that was it. That was
Engage.
it. Yeah, that came in my pants, and I have since framed those.
Where's that
pants.
from?
And-
Engage.
That's from Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh,
That was from
never watched
when
that.
Borg, when Picard turned into a Borg.
Right.
Those are the.
I was
pants
always
I'm
waiting for
sitting
the
next to.
Arsenio Hall show to come on, but I forget.
Yeah, as the ones that you were using as a napkin earlier, Grant. All right. So
All right. Nakato asks, Mighty League members.
I voted for Kato.
Living in Japan as I do, up until recently, my only real method of finding out about what's happening and with American comics was going to an import bookstore once every 6 months.
Don't tell us your problems.
Now, thanks to Leog,
Hey, fuck
I have
you,
become a veritable encyclopedia of comics knowledge, a fountain of facts and stories that draws nothing but blank stares from all my Japanese friends.
I just want to get the converse of this, like somebody his age from America writing to a Japanese podcast and seeing how that translates.
Fair enough. I think the guy's very eloquent.
That's what I'm saying. It would be impossible.
Yeah.
It would be
He's
like
very eloquent. We
me
wouldn't see that
like
outside.
manga good. Me go to store.
Why
They'd be
Leog?
like, oh, you like manga? You must be retarded.
Why Leog not cover manga? Me angry.
Hey, what's gonna ask?
Bizarro Mikado kill.
Oh, that's true. I haven't gotten to the
What's
actual
that guy's
question.
name again?
Nakado.
Nakado just
Nakado.
logged
We
in
love
Game
Nakado.
of Life.
We are very
Nakado's
impressed.
awesome.
He's almost an honorary member.
Almost. Oh, what,
Well, he
what's he
doesn't
not
live
doing
in it.
right?
I believe he
live
is
here.
asking multi-tiered questions. So what is it?
That being said, now that I've filleted you,
I already forgot the
appropriately,
question. but yeah.
I know little of the comic industry in itself and where it stands now.
Leon question.
I hear of rising prices and fears of the death of the sacred medium. Please tell me, what do you think of the present state of the comics industry? From the grind of the illustrators to pinheadedness of editors-in-chief to stories that sell... What's that? Okay.
Sell them.
Sell them and fans themselves. And where do you see, would you like to see the industry going?
That's a great question.
It is a great question. The current state of the industry is the same state of newspapers in America or in worldwide, really. It's really starting to get to a point where it's like, how do we get people to buy this? How do we keep going? But we should keep going. We're like this entity that's so present in our fans' minds and even like omnipresent in society. Everybody knows what a comic book is, just like everybody knows what a newspaper is, but people aren't buying them.
But
People are buying trade paperbacks and stuff like that. I truly think, like, as far as the state of the industry, I think it's pretty shoddy right now. Comics aren't going anywhere. I really think it's going to get to the point where trade paperbacks, are going to start being the medium that people really buy. But I think it's going to go to something like the way that we utilize music now. It's going to be an online reader, something like iTunes, where you're going to spend, like, the same cost that a comic was in 1980, 50 cents as opposed to $4.
Yeah.
Read it online and then, several months later get the trade paperback.
Well, I was going to say, a lot like the music industry and how it was alternative music used to be, where it was such a clique. It was such a club. You had to go to the record store and fight through the high-fidelity douchebags to find out about what music you wanted to listen to. I'm sorry, that's always, until real recently, the experience that I had in a comic book store was you went in and you had somebody following you around, and this is not a library, and asking them questions like, you know what, I have never read a comic book before. What would I enjoy? I don't recommend comics.
Boy, I'll tell you, I've been in every comic book store in Austin lately, and all those guys are gone. It is yes, man. No, sir.
The whole
now.
situation
It's different
has
now.
changed. But you're absolutely right.
But
you're
I'm
absolutely right,
saying
yeah.
a lot like how file sharing and the internet became kind of a way for everybody without any kind of elitist or hermetic knowledge to access music and all kinds of music. The internet and file sharing could be a way for comics to not only survive but get to be a lot more
I think that's an
appreciated.
awesome point. And yeah, it's true. You can go into a comic book store now and read like 5 or 6 comic books, and as long as if you're appearing regularly anyway, as long as you like go out with like a trade paperback or a couple of comics under your arm, they're all well and good with that. They've got no problem. with that.
While I agree with you, Bo, that comics are I guess, sort of dying in the way that newspapers are. I think that they have, the readers have much more of an appreciation of the actual physical form of a comic, that they want to hold it and read it and be able to flip through the pages for the reveal, whereas that same element is not offered if you're viewing it digitally.
I agree with some extent, but also, I mean, we're talking about two different demographics. I mean, millions upon millions upon millions of people read newspapers, whereas only a few million read comic books.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say this from someone who loves reading stuff digitally, and I do. I love reading. I have a big 27-inch monitor that they look beautiful on. I've read a lot of the digital comics out there with the thing they have with the digital comics download, and I love doing it that way. But you know what's happened because of this? I'm buying more comics in graphic novel form than I ever did before, than I ever would have even considered buying before, because I didn't know about these characters, and I'm not willing to pay $4.55 for a single goddamn 26-page issue that all but maybe 17 pages of is ads, if you're lucky. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, no, I want to read this stuff, see what I like digitally, and then I'll buy it. I mean, I've spent probably $1,000 in the last year on goddamn graphic novels and stuff. And it's like, you know, hey, I wouldn't have spent that if it wasn't for these digital comics.
I happily buy them.
I have to admit, I am opposed to reading comic books on the internet, especially when they're on your computer, Cyrus, because the last comic book I read on the computer,
like 1,000 in a minute.
The last one I read on Cyrus's computer it was a crossed issue 0. And he's like, hey, co-host, here you go. Check this out. It's issue 0. It's hard to find. All right, I'll read it. And I was pushing the arrow button, like, you know, I guess it was the right arrow button. And I was like, you know, this comic book is just not that good. I don't know what the fuck is going on. And this thing is, it's like none of this is making any sense. And then I realized I was reading the fucker backwards. Thanks a lot, pal.
That's what you get for having Windows 95 as your OS.
Look, goddammit, you got to show me what those arrows mean every once in a while.
The only digital comics I remember giving you was what you asked for, Horny Biker Slut, volume 3.
Oh, hey, I wanted to borrow that.
What the fuck?
Not only that, but you guys are talking about maybe more mainstream comics. Talk about maybe the independent industry.
No, I don't want to talk about them. They ain't coming out with
as far as what would make those work.
Well, no, it's kind
those
of
definitely
like
need the internet in order to be able to spread to a wider audience.
I mean,
but
you know what those
need?
Internet, those comic books need the stamp of DC
expensive.
or Marvel.
He's right about that.
I guarantee you, part of what really will end up working for comics is making it where people get the chance to read it first, and then they want to own it. They want to hold it in your hands because everyone knows that is better. Of course, it's better. But you know what? I want to goddamn read it first.
Well, that is the problem with the comics going up to you know what? Well, I guess basically $4 now. Now they're $3.99 most of them because they've been $2.99, which is a huge price to begin with. But what I was telling the guys at Tribe, I'm like, you guys, with the price going up like this, it makes it so much harder for me to try new stuff. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, you're absolutely right.
You know what? And that is that is the major downside that is going to occur, because it's the same major downside that's happening in newspaper. It's the local touch is going to disappear. And I love going into my local comic book shop. I absolutely love it. It's something I do at least once a week, and that's going to disappear. Mm-hmm. Well, it is really going to disappear.
I mean, I suppose it will shrink, and maybe it will disappear. But for me, I love going into the shop. I love being surrounded by comics. I like being able to just pick up random things. Just spend an hour in there just looking around at stuff. Things I've seen before, new things I've never seen before.
Yeah. I will do it. I will do it as long as I can. But I'm still not adverse to spending 75 cents and getting a fucking local newspaper either. So I mean, like those things.
I'll read stuff digitally, but it never has the same impact to me as it does when I read it in a book. And when I know I have read that, I've sat on a toilet, I've taken a shit and read 4 comics, and then put them away. And then remembered somebody talks to me about them, and I go like, "Oh yeah, I know that book."
But the books aren't going to
The
books aren't going to go away. What's going to change though, irrevocably, is the point of sale.
Yeah, I agree.
I ran out of toilet paper.
In fact,
know what that means.
I think we're going to see more from the book's point of view. I think we're going to see a more elaborate sort of selling format with the books, where they're prettier, they're better formatted.
Well,
I'm hoping it'll get to the point where we'll have something online like Leog, perhaps, that you can also buy comics through, so that you get the wise ass fun that you get of going into your local comic book shop and talking about people or talking to people about what's going on in comics, and yet you still get that downloadable factor, and then you get the point that you can go in. And if comic books stick around and just sell trade paperbacks only, I got no problem with that.
Well, one thing I would address, the question of are comics going to go away? My answer to that would be The Dark Knight, which was the second highest grossing movie of all time. The fact is that movie is fueled by the comic books, and as long as Time Warner owns DC Comics, which I've heard they might be selling it off, but for the most part, with Time Warner as their parent company, Time Warner has kept DC Comics a losing company, a money-losing company around, because it generates the intellectual property that they need to make these billion-dollar money-making movies.
Okay, you know what? It pisses me off to no end when a movie like The Dark Knight comes out, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go and see what the hell's going on in the Batman comics, only to realize that they fucking killed off Batman and replaced him with goddamn Dick Grayson.
Nice
and I'm
segue.
like, really? Why are you doing this?
Okay.
And that is why you were a fool, Robot, because you obviously haven't been reading Batman.
Yeah, as a
lately.
matter
Fuck
of fact, co-host, they didn't replace Batman with Dick Grayson until a year after The Dark Knight came out.
Indeed.
So, I don't
But
know,
he was, no. But the thing is, Comic Shop News.
You have to understand
that fucking publication.
We shut
spoiled
down.
that
We shut
goddamn
down co-hosts for months.
No.
So
Comic Shop News. That fucking publication spoiled everything
does.
months in advance,
It does.
letting you know that fucking Batman was gonna die.
Yeah. Hate
that.
And he didn't only die once; he died fucking twice.
I know. That was completely
But I was still like,
confusing.
what? I mean, what are you doing?
First
Why?
off, the biggest problem with what happened with the Batman death was that it happened in a piece of shit like Final Crisis. Okay.
Well, it happened in his own book.
Yeah.
And
And
hold
then-
on,
and then it had one Final
Crisis.
it was not comic book news. The fault of that lies with a big fat piece of crap named Dan DiDio, who went up and said, "Hey, everybody, we're killing Batman."
So-
Woo!
Which I think he's
I'm
the
on
same guy who's
fire."
running Marvel. I think he's the same guy, right?
No, yeah, might as well be.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm curious. Does anyone know? Okay, because in the end of Batman R.I.P., he dies one way, and yet in Final Crisis, he dies in a completely different fashion.
Right.
So, can anyone tell me what happened between those two events? With
Fuck
what
no.
actually happened?
Nobody in this room
Different
can.
Because I've
universes,
read all
right?
that Batman shit, and I can't find the issue that explains.
It
how
seems
he
like their
actually died.
definitive version of him dying is the Omega beams. Which,
Right.
I mean, like,
Yeah, well,
I'll
I
say
mean-
it again. Fucking, he dodged those goddamn beams in the Justice League Unlimited, and I don't know if they saw that episode and they're like, that's just retarded. You know
to
what?
be-
Fuck everyone who
you know
liked that episode. I'm writing in my book. Batman fucking getting taken out by Omega beams by Darkseid, because that's how it has to
By
be
the way,
done.
I will be watching that episode after this Leog, so if anyone wants to stick around and watch it, feel free.
Okay, I want to
well-
say this. I read Batman Battle for the Cowl, and then I read the current Batman stuff that's happening right now. And we're basically Dick Grayson says, okay, you know what? After everything else, I'm going to become Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of sold on it.
I'm totally sold on
I
it.
don't think it's as good as what they did with Captain America and Bucky,
No,
which
no.
admittedly this is a total ripoff of that.
Yeah.
But it's not terrible either. And if anyone was going, okay, I don't know, I mean, maybe Coast, you haven't really read a lot of the Nightwing
haven't.
over the years,
No.
but Dick Grayson has turned into an amazing character.
But you know what? I like Dick Grayson, and I like that he's a great character. But you know what? Why he's great is because he's Nightwing, not because he's Batman.
no,
And
but
I
that's
don't-
part of why they made it interesting. With
He
this
didn't. He
stuff.
didn't want to be Batman.
Yeah, he did not want to be. He was fighting
because
against
he had done it once before, like after the whole Knight's Quest, Knight's End thing.
Yeah,
when,
yeah.
And Bruce Wayne was all healed up. He could have been Batman, and he's like, "Look, I'm still not ready. Could you take over for me?" And Dick agreed to do it, but didn't really like it.
And look at it this way. We all know Bruce Wayne's coming back.
Yeah.
We're not fools. But in that little universe, Batman is dead. And if Batman really was fucking dead, who's going to take over him?
Alfred.
Bullshit. Yeah. It's Dick Grayson. And that's one of the great things. Like, Alfred goes to him, and he is basically like,
Yeah.
I love you. stop fucking around and do what you are made to do.
And there are some.
There is no other person on the face of the fucking planet that's going to fill that.
I
cow.
like you, Alfred. I like you, but
There's some actually touching moments there. One of which I like, where Alfred refers to Batman for the first time I've ever seen as his son.
Right.
He calls him his son. And outside of the Batman R.I.P. bullshit, we know what he's actually talking about. He's saying, like, look, he's my adopted son.
I've raised
father.
his
I
kid
raised
more than
this kid,
anybody.
and that's just it brought a tear to my eye reading that. I was like, you know what? It's about the damn time they came out and said that, and then okay.
And so much of Dick taking over is him training Damian. It's like, look, I got this problem kid here, and if I don't take charge of this now,
he's going to become a monster.
Yeah,
Of course,
but you know what?
Just like
That's one of the things
just
I
like
didn't
his
like.
grandfather.
That's
Yeah.
what I didn't like, though, that they just threw that kid in as Robin. I'm like,
no, but they didn't
why?
just throw him in.
It makes total
Grant
sense.
Morrison did bring it along slowly and organically.
If you read the first issue of the new Batman and Robin series too, I was very cynical.
I
was
read
like, okay.
it. No, I read it.
Okay, and I was like, you know what? After R.I.P., I'm like ready to not like just say fuck you. How dare you put Grant Morrison on this new book? But I thought it was fucking great.
Actually, I will give Morrison credit and beyond. He's been setting all this up very precisely for a long time. And for as clunky as R.I.P. was, the stuff coming up to R.I.P. was excellent. Some of Grant Morrison's best writing. And this new Batman and Robin series looks to be incredible. I love the way it started.
Yeah.
I can't wait to read some more. Another thing I like as far as Robin goes, Red Robin.
Haven't read it yet. Looking forward to reading it.
I've
wait,
got
which
it,
which
so
Robin is that? I'm
Red
sorry.
Robin
Tim
is
Drake.
Tim
Drake,
Drake.
okay.
He's
Occurrent
effectively the new
Robin.
Nightwing.
See, I'm just now getting back and reading all this Batman stuff, so I missed the whole I'm kind of in the middle of like, wait a minute, who is Damian, by the way? Because I thought Tim Drake was
Damian is Bruce Wayne's son with Talia al Ghul.
Okay,
Ra's
okay.
al Ghul's
You
daughter.
have to go all the way back to like 1989 or the early
no,
90s.
you would have to go back to the 70s to like the original Ra's al Ghul series where Talia
right.
comes up and says, "I love you."
There
And
was a
they-
Son of the Batman graphic novel.
Okay,
that they
okay.
recently
No, I
reprinted.
read that. Okay, yeah.
And it's like nobody ever touched on it. They pretended like it didn't exist, and then Grant Morrison went like, "No, I'm going to make this part of the canon."
Okay,
But you know what?
made it work.
Okay, real quick. But you know what? As far as I read that Batman and Robin, the Grant Morrison, and all I said was like, okay, why didn't they just call this All Star Batman? Why didn't they just do that run?
Because
and
Frank
have,
Miller-
and
don't
have-
want it
and have
because
Bruce
it's
Wayne
happening.
in there.
There's already
It's
an
happening in
All Star
continuity.
Batman and Robin, and that All Star
should've
Batman
been.
and Robin is not part of the real continuity.
and it's terrible, by the way.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I
awful.
know. That's what I hear. But I'm like, you know,
it's the
I
worst
prefer
thing.
that. Just bring in Bruce Wayne. Just take what they did. Okay, pull a Richard Donner and take everything they take
Dude,
the elements
robot,
from
chill your
the Dark
non-existent
Knight.
nuts. Bruce
Look,
Wayne's coming back.
No. I refuse. I do not
slow your
want. I
roll.
do not want fucking Batman to be anyone else besides Bruce Wayne. I am sorry.
Hey,
Jesus
get-
Christ.
get-
Does
get over
anyone have a soldering iron?
You know what?
No.
Co-host,
What's the
to,
next
to make you
question?
happy, I'd like you to tell us about Darkest Night.
There we are.
Oh, I just
Blackest
read,
Night.
the
Blackest
Blackest
Night, sorry.
I just read the Zero issue. I think that's all they
because
have out.
besides
Which is
Why
nice.
are you
Well,
asking me
then
these
just
questions?
tell us about Green Lantern.
besides
going
Superman,
on?
you were also the guy who got me to reading Green Lantern again.
Right.
What's going on?
So what's going on?
Well, right now what's going on is I haven't been reading a lot of the Green Lantern comics.
Oh, jeez.
So I took a break for a while, and what I realized is that, of course, the Light War is about to start.
Which, let's face it, we know what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, we
Hal's going to have every
I
single
don't
ring,
exactly,
and he'll become the White
and
Lantern.
he's going to become just like the ultimate badass.
There's
god.
no question he'll become the White Lantern.
Who knows? And then, of
But-
course, the entire DC universe is going to have to try to kill him again.
Yeah, but that's just like in The
Yeah.
Sixth Sense when you realize what really the story is, and you still don't care, and you go, "This is awesome anyway."
Well, no, that is Blackest Night is the penultimate series, and then the ultimate series will be Honky Lantern. What?
Well, right now it seems like they've been going through this whole prelude to Blackest Night.
for like 6 months.
Yeah,
Jesus.
which I thought
6
I
months
was hoping
for
they
the
would just
entire
get
fucking
into it.
run of Green Lantern since Hal
Pretty
came
much,
out.
yeah. And I haven't read any of those. I've just read issue 0, which was available from the free comic book day.
Yep.
Where basically,
Yeah, I got that. That's a great fucking. If you haven't picked it up, pick it up.
It was beautiful.
Where they kind of reminisce about Bruce Wayne and
that's a great book.
Yeah, and as far as just realizing that a lot of the DC
Nice job, Allison.
heroes are dying off, and why is this going on and everything, and of course it leads to some character in the shadows proclaiming that these dead heroes will rise again.
That would be Black Hand.
Let's face it, they are bringing back all the DC.
They are.
heroes.
They're bringing back Aquaman, Martian Manhunter.
I mean,
those at least we know.
And
well, we
Jonathan
know a lot.
Kent, I heard they're
Elongated
bringing
Man, Firestorm.
Jonathan Kent, yeah,
Jonathan
Superboy,
Kent,
whoever that was. I can't remember.
back. Yeah, Connor Kent.
The Earth 2 surround,
and of course Batman.
They're knocking it all out.
Which the number one thing that makes me think that he's the main person who will come out of all this is that they barely ever mention him in the preview stuff.
Right.
It's like they'll go of all these dead heroes, and they mention this.
Oh,
whole
dude,
list,
you
and
realize-
they don't mention him, and it's like, duh.
You realize at the very end of all of this, all of the light is going to coalesce into this white ring, and Hal's going to go and wreak havoc and put everything in the right, and then he's going to look down at the ring and he's just going to be like, how the fuck did I get this? And then he's going to look around, and it's going to be Batman with a fucking huge prism going, I told you I had this fucking covered.
Exactly.
It's been the plan from the beginning. Talk about backup plans.
And then I'll be one happy fucking robot once I realize that Bruce Wayne is Batman once again.
All right, here's a quick one. Question from Wyatt. How do you feel about Ultimate Spider-Man's recent death and Ultimatum, as well as the reboot Ultimate Comics Spider-Man?
I am about to go smoke a cigarette, so I'll just say that I think Jeff Loeb is a dick. So, leaving it at that.
And you're right.
Take a drink.
Okay. I want to say this right now. I do want to talk about this. I'm really into this. I've been reading all this. Ultimatum sucks. It sucks so bad. There's nothing good to say about it. I actually had a dream last night that somebody walked into Marvel Comics and went up to Jeff Loeb and Joe Quesada and smacked them in the face with a glove. Like a duel, and said,
"You dream about
outside."
that shit?
I had a dream about that, where they took them outside and they shot them in the head because they deserve that shit. This is bullshit. They are taking this over by force, and it's crap. What's going on right now with Ultimatum is I don't know what the motivation is for this. It's like, wow, the Ultimate Universe has been a fantastic thing. The first time probably ever in comics that you've created an alternate universe in comics like this. And it's actually worked, and in fact, maybe surpassed the currently existing universe. I mean, hell, the currently existing universe keeps ripping off the Ultimate Universe. It's been so good. And then Quesada and Loeb come in and say, you know what? We're going to take over everybody's books who've been doing such a great job on them, and we're just going to take them over and say, you know what? We're killing all your characters.
And why is that? Well, I mean,
that's my question. I don't know why any sane person would do that.
Didn't those guys watch the episodes that they wrote for fucking Heroes?
Yeah, exactly.
Did nobody learn from that?
No, exactly. That's just it. It's like, wow, Jeff Loeb, Heroes was already dying, but Jeff Loeb made it so bad that even its biggest defenders came in and said, yeah, I admit it sucks now.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Brian Fuller is now back off of Heroes.
Yeah, well,
and
no,
I think
he
that's
left
hilarious.
again. The last thing I heard was him saying, like, off
I have
off the
2 other
record,
projects
it
to
wasn't
work on.
savable.
Is that what he said?
Thank you.
Good.
That's how it was with that last half season where I thought it started out. And I was like, okay, they're making some changes that I would have made, and it could pick up. And it's like, no, it's just as awful as it ever was.
So you finally given up, huh?
I have.
Leon?
I have,
You're
yeah.
done.
It's
But back to Ultimatum.
Sorry.
There's a really amazing thing that you should read, which is Spider-Man Ultimatum Requiem, issue 1, and it's a 2-issue thing. The second one hasn't come out yet, but it's written by Brian Michael Bendis. And the last issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, written by Bendis, was pretty good. It was because Spider-Man has died now in that continuity,
right? And there's no dialogue.
The last issue is totally dialogue free. Is no dialogue at all. And
it was enough said issue.
And yeah, exactly. Thank you. That was nicely said.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this would mean something if his death had meant anything in Ultimatum, but it didn't. It was pointless and dumb, and I didn't even know what had happened. Leon and I were talking about this the other day. We're like, wait, what just happened? And they're like, Spider-Man sacrificed himself for the greater good. It was like, really?
Well-
because I'm kind of missed that.
Well, yeah, it was
part.
it was a No Country for Old Men death.
Yes, it was.
Where
That's
it's like you read the
gay.
whole issue and you get to the very end, it's like he died, like not even off camera. He died off camera in between that issue. It's
Yeah.
like, what the hell?
Yeah, but Spider-Man Requiem is an incredibly touching issue. I assume you haven't read it yet, but oh my god, it's mainly has to do with J. Jonah Jameson, who at the end of Ultimatum saw Spider-Man basically give up his life to save a bunch of people, and is sitting
And
there
did
completely
he feel like a dick?
completely convinced that his entire career has been in vain, that he's a total dick, and watching his other people going like, well, all right, somebody hands him a hard drive and goes, these are all the stories you never let me print about Spider-Man,
Damn.
about the truth about Spider-Man. And it's him going through those stories, examining the true story of what a hero he was. And god damn it if I didn't get all teared up
There
reading
you
it.
go again.
It's so good.
Pussy.
Oh my god. No, you read it, you'll get teared up. You're like, oh my god, this is fucking
Told you I can't.
Now,
cry.
classic Bendis writing.
Hatini.
Booty. I'm glad you know that, because I say that sometimes people don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, you
I
guys
don't know
never,
what the
you guys
fuck
never
you're
watched
talking
The Wiz?
The Wiz, the Tin Man, Nipsey Russell. He's all locked up and rusted from crime. Hatini. Hatini.
I thought it was Utidi. Oh, what? Utidi. I used to go Utidi. Utidi. Anyway, watch The Wiz.
How
kids.
many
It's great
questions
music.
we got?
Anyway. It's Jumbo Talk.
Right, we're all fading, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to keep this short.
Yeah.
It's only
Pick a
5
really
in the
good
morning.
question.
Well, here's one. Where'd it go? Da, 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 da. Beep, beep, boop, boop, beep, 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 beep,
Is Fish still here? Oh, there you are. Where you been?
Sleep on the couch.
The problem is we would have.
I don't
this
blame
thing
you.
got slowed down a bit because we did another one of these, and this is my fault for not copying and pasting the questions into another file like I usually do. But Spill went, I'm sorry, Spill is down for maintenance, and we were just kind of shooting
For the
the shit while we
100th
did
time.
that. But we're running a little long on this one because we want to get as many questions in as we can, and I apologize.
Give us another
Yeah,
question.
there's so many great questions, and it was one.
Make up one, Grant.
Hey,
The fans do hate it when we run
I
over
believe that we read something briefly about someone asking about Fables. What was going on with Fables and whether or not...
yeah, you know what? That's the thing. There was a great Fables question that I'm trying to find. I had it here a second ago.
Well, you're just
That-
going to have to go with
Damn.
what I
Well,
meant.
that being said, I don't want to go too far with Fables because I buy them in trade paperback
Yeah, me too.
form.
Yeah, me too.
So
I'm way
I'm
behind
a little
on
behind.
that.
You know,
Well,
I'm
basically,
pretty
all they were saying was...
Everyone dies.
Hey,
Stop
with
reading
this
now.
most recent Fables, where are they going to go from here? And I think that without spoiling anything with what's going on in the most recent run, I would say that what they ended up doing was the great crossover,
Yeah.
which allowed
Jack of Fables,
Well,
Fables, and also the Literals, which are a group from Jack of Fables, to all meet and play with each other in a playground.
exactly.
That
and,
sounds perverted.
And the story itself, it
Will
it-
not be talked about here.
Well, yeah,
I'm right next to you, Grant.
it ties things together, but
All right, pinch him.
It doesn't affect greater stories that were going on in Fables that I think definitely need to be addressed.
Who are you, Leon? Are you
There's
spoiling
the
it?
ideas. The idea
Hey,
of them.
enough of that talk. Look, listen, you in my world now,
Oh,
where you don't
yeah,
get to
yeah.
like spend like half your
forget.
podcast talking about me.
Yeah,
Hey, you're,
yeah.
you're such
The
great
last-
material. I'm
To be
sorry.
fair, the
okay?
last time he spoiled something that bad was
You
like
leave our
what,
spoiler
6
alone.
years
Yes,
ago.
I'm saying like, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I was just like, when I heard that, I was like, wow, y'all really recycling some old material.
Wow,
Yeah,
you guys
well.
must listen to Leog with a fine tooth comb.
Well, I do at least.
Well, I get people now. People are commenting to me on my page like, "Yeah, Leon, you got a disease, man. I can hear you go into a trance and spoil shit like on Transformers." I was like, "What on Transformers did I spoil?"
Hey,
well, I was just joking.
the Pickaninny robots, they're gonna fight other robots.
If I didn't think I wouldn't target vomit through the entire film, I'd go see it right now and
Yeah.
do a podcast. I spoiled every second
Totally
to keep
spoiled.
people from giving money to Michael fucking Bay. because there'll be a Transformers 3.
Yeah.
Well, Leon totally spoiled those two racist robots.
Really?
That I was dying to see
You
on
all
my own.
interrupted me to talk more about Transformers.
Oh,
a
sorry.
movie you already hate. Come on.
I haven't even seen it, and I'm angry about it. I'm sorry.
Let me go back to
Grant,
Fable.
you misunderstand.
you
We
start
would
over?
interrupt you over far less.
Yeah,
than that.
Grant,
And I'm not
can you
even
start
spoiling
over?
anything. All I'm saying is they still have so many issues to address, like them trying to repopulate the homeworld, or
will we ever
or
see
if
Megan
they
Fox's
even
breasts
do try and go
untethered?
there, or what they're doing with the person that's invaded.
Yeah, they don't.
Grant,
Table's
I'm
not.
about to hit you with Allison.
None of that is addressed. All right. all
Anyway,
right.
and that's-
I resent
We're
it.
running
Big
way late, long
They
here.
still
All
have
right,
much-
let's go to a real question.
I want to go to like what might be the final question. While most of us are still erect. I mean,
Whoa.
I mean, okay.
know
Final
I
question.
I'll go sit next to Allison if that's what we're looking
Whoa.
All right.
I always feel
You're getting the
so
girl all
funny.
excited over there. Calm
I
down.
always feel tiny when you say that, Leon.
Evil Teddy. Evil Teddy, just a mere 12 hours ago, asked,
Evil Teddy.
Has there been any story arcs that you were in the middle of that have never been resolved due to being canceled or dropped?
No.
Allison. All right, other way.
That's
Fuck you,
hilarious.
Leon.
Fish.
I got nothing.
Really? I'll go
Okay, Grant, go.
because I love talking.
Is it Archie? Is it
Well,
Archie?
Lost in the middle of Lost.
I would like to complain about Kick-Ass not being wrapped up yet, and I know it's still ongoing.
No, you
but-
got a good point.
But it's
What a
like,
bunch
oh,
of
hey,
bullshit.
a movie's already in production yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, where the fuck was the rest of the comic? And
Exactly.
it only comes out like every 3 months.
I'm writing the movie, Dick.
Piggybacking on that, I'd also like to bitch about Hulk versus Wolverine from Damon Lindelof, who I love from Lost, and I'd love to pimp Lost. Hey, it's a great show. You should watch it.
Never heard of it.
But nonetheless, Hulk versus Wolverine only recently just suddenly started popping up with more issues, and it's like, okay, finally. But I don't really enjoy the direction it's going anymore.
Well,
I loved where
it's
it
already
started
wrapped
first
up,
two.
dude.
Did it? I
Yeah,
didn't read
it
the
wrapped
last
up a
one.
month ago.
I have two.
I need to go to this comic book store. You guys speak of.
I have 2 words for the universe. And by the way, the comic book series that is out now does not count. These words to the universe, 2 words followed by 3 words. Buckaroo Banzai, why God why?
Fuck yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Where's the World Crime League, you asshole?
Reading my mind. And plus, you know what? I'd really like to see what would have happened with Grim Jack, the comic book, if the original inker, Leon, had ended up staying with it.
I was the colorist,
Colorist, inker.
and I left before the last 2 issues because they told me the book was canceled.
Yeah.
And you know what? A buddy of mine has been bugging me for like years to get you to sign one of his issues of that character or that book.
Oh.
I've never even heard of it. But
That's one of
hey,
my favorite books
yeah.
ever.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's not finished though. So should I read it?
Speaking of really good, like, science fiction based series that unfortunately not a lot of people know about. Epic, any Epic fans? In
Oh, I
here?
loved Epic. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, any Alien Legion fans?
Oh, I liked Alien
I
Legion.
read it.
I
I'm
didn't
not a
love
big
it, but I
fan,
liked
yeah.
it. Okay.
I was a big fan, and they never really wrapped up some of the storylines there. And man, I thought that series was really great. It was a very original piece of work. It used the space opera vehicle, but it did it in a way that not a lot of people had done. Very original ideas, and man, I would love to see like a series done on that. So
Yeah, no.
Let
it
the
was
girl try.
let the girl
I
try.
actually do have a question,
There we
and
are.
maybe you guys would know, but okay, Pushing Daisies, speaking of.
Yeah.
Did you see the new
Yes.
finale that just came out like a week or 2 ago?
What?
Wait, what?
oh
they,
yeah, I got
They
caught it
released
by accident.
they released
What?
2 extra episodes just recently. One which is
I
kind of a
didn't know
finale,
that.
and then another one which is kind of an extra episode. Afterwards, the latter of which I believe Leon just watched.
Yeah.
But there was a
I watched 15
finale
minutes and I
that
didn't like it.
kind of wrapped up a lot of stuff in it, and I thought it was actually really good. The one that Leon saw, which I think
Yeah,
was his
Grant,
first
Grant,
introduction.
Grant, yeah, it was my
kinda
first introduction.
shitty.
I've never seen the show. I watched that one that Grant's talking about, like the very last episode, And
not a
15
good
minutes
idea.
in, I was like, ugh, I don't like this. But from what Grant tells me, it's very atypical of the series.
Honestly, though, this is one of these series that, like, okay, I can totally see why some people would not like it, or at least on immediate response. Because even when I saw the first episode of the show, I went, this is kind of Tim Burton-ish in a weird sort of
love
way.
it for that.
I
ended up
agree.
getting sold on it.
There's
Okay,
a
yeah, because the
Tim
episode that I saw was very
Fantasol-
Tim Burton.
And that was my biggest fault.
very
With that. It was
surreal.
like,
Yeah.
this is so Tim Burton-ish. It feels kind of cheap in that level. But as you keep watching it, you go, you know what? Fuck that.
Better. It's
Fuck
better.
that. Yeah,
It's
it's
not
much
fair
better.
to,
Yeah.
to block it in with Tim Burtonisms, I think.
But I thought that he was going to do more of the story as a comic.
Actually, that's what they've been
the-
saying is
That-
they'll be
that-
a comic.
but-
But for this type of thing, it's
Who's going to read that?
silly to put it in
There's
a
not a
comic.
single fan out there that's going to be hanging out at
No,
comic
it's
books.
not a
With how they
comic
wrapped
type of
it up.
translate.
No, not
With
at
how
all.
they wrapped it up in this finale,
Please don't spoil anything.
I don't see why they really need to. I can understand there's more story to be told, which they could, but I thought it ended in a. I was very happy.
If
I was gonna
you
say
guys
that.
aren't familiar with Brian Fuller, you should watch also by him Wonderfalls, which is
Wonderfalls.
absolutely amazing. It's just one season, one short season.
He feels
And,
like the new Joss Whedon to me.
no, not
And,
quite.
he keeps trying things
Because
that
he
keep
hasn't
getting
gotten a
shut
chance
down.
to do a complete show yet. And once he does, I think that he could be that guy.
Well,
Yeah, I just
only
want more.
because Joss Whedon got to do a full thing of Buffy.
yeah, that's what I'm saying is that he got his full chance.
Yeah, that's right.
Fish has something he's dying to say
I thought
over
of some
here.
stuff that was canceled. In the Invincible universe, there's Tech Jacket, Capes, and more recently Brit. And Brit, I think it's more like I heard it was because of sales, because I think Kirkman started writing it and it really went downhill. And also something that Jason would mention if he were here is something called Highwaymen, which
yeah, he did turn me on to that.
yeah, it's just like it is just in one trade right now, and I think maybe it was gonna be a series. I'm not sure, but it's a lot of fun.
But Jason's not here, so
Yes.
moving on.
Well, hold out hope, because I on the note of this, I want to end that on a positive note. Is there's a series that Gil Kane did in the back of Savage Sword of Conan called Black Mark, which was it turned out to be one of the first graphic novels ever written, and it was never finished. And they finally jacketed it and put it out by, I believe, Fantagraphics did it. And it's amazing. It's a great sci-fi swords and sorcery epic. It's awesome, and so sometimes you'll get something that doesn't get the ending that you want, and many years later, if you just wait, it'll come up.
And did Straczynski ever finish Rising Stars?
Yeah,
He did?
Absolutely. He did.
Because I know he took he was like, screw you guys.
Well,
No.
that's
Are you
perfect.
talking about Rising Stars or Powers?
That's
Rising
the
Star.
perfect.
No, wait.
That's the perfect segue
No, it is Rising
into my
Star, yeah.
answer, because TV shows, it's always going to be my own worst enemy. And I keep finding people who love that show as much as I did. And man, did it end at a spot where they set it up for this perfect new arc for it to take, and then that was it. I'm sorry, Grant. You can laugh all you want.
I hate Christian Slater.
you can hate Christian Slater all you want. That show is awesome. But
Well, they obviously have an open door policy on assholes in Leon.
but as comic books go, Straczynski's The 12. That's a series I was totally
Let's
into.
see the goddamn end of that thing. What
Yeah,
the
well,
hell?
It's
apparently
only made it up to 8.
Yeah, and he said, he has officially said, well, the artist who started it couldn't finish it, and so he lost his impetus to finish writing
That's
it.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it sounds ridiculous. And the thing is, I'm feeling like he's had a huge riff with Marvel, which probably started when Joe Quesada decided to do Brand New Day and erased the last 10 or 15 years of his writing on Spider-Man.
And let's face it, what really happened there? It's wait, his amazing run on Spider-Man, ended with one of the most terrible moments in the history of that book.
Right.
That felt, even as you're reading it, like they really no one wanted it to happen. Straczynski certainly was resenting it. You can see that in his writing. And it's okay, well, yeah, I'm sure that even though the public service stuff, they're going oh no, everything's fine, oh no, Spider-Man. I never felt any tone of.
Oh, I didn't either. And if I may, tell a story I was just telling you just the other day. Dwayne McDuffie has been recently fired off of Justice League. And anybody who doesn't know Dwayne McDuffie, he was one of the creators of Milestone Media. He created Static Shock, all those other characters.
He wrote for Justice League.
He wrote some of the
Unlimited,
best
right?
episodes of Justice League. All those great season finales that we talk about.
Right.
He wrote those. He was the lead writer on Ben 10's the new the second Alien Force. Thank you. And he'd been writing Justice League and reintroducing the Milestone characters. Now apparently, editorial had been making him write some stories that he didn't really want to write. And while he wasn't going everywhere complaining about it, there were certain places on the net where he would ask him questions, and he was like telling the real deal, like, yeah, I didn't want to write that. They made me do it. I'm not really happy about these stories. Somebody within DC who didn't like him compiled everything he ever wrote negative about that, took it to Dan DiDio, and then Dan DiDio fired him for not keeping his mouth, not keeping his mouth shut and not towing the company line.
Because Dan DiDio is a fat pile of New York shit.
Right. So he's been fired, and Len Wein has been put on the book, which I heard is not very good since he's been on. I mean, Len Wein was like great in his day, but comics have changed.
Even though they have an upcoming story arc, which sounds really cool. I was telling Bo this earlier. They've been showing previews of it in some of the Green Lantern books, where it seems like Green Lantern and Green Arrow have been having these discussions about all these supervillains are killing a lot of our friends.
Yeah.
And something needs to be fucking done.
Oh
with it.
yeah, that new series is coming out.
And
yeah.
it almost seems like they're on that line of maybe we should just kill these motherfuckers.
Yeah, we got to take the offensive on this.
It's time to get serious.
It looks like
they've really been
people have to die now. Yeah.
They've really been exploring that in like the Green Arrow series lately. Like Ollie, like just doing the whole, why am I saving these guys? Why am I, every time I turn around, fucking, and I get my life in order, and I'm happy with my family, someone like Merlin comes around and blows up my fucking house. Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
And Ollie being Ollie, I can totally see him being the lead of this.
Did you see this new thing? What's the new Justice League book that's coming out where it's Hal Jordan going?
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, making the argument going, maybe we should kill these guys.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know what? It's hard. I'm me, even as a liberal, reading this going, yeah, you make a strong argument considering the fact that Arkham Asylum apparently keeps people like tied down with Velcro.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you like, we shouldn't kill them. They should go through the system. It's like, well, the system's not holding on to them.
That's one of the things that's been happening, like in the greater Green Lantern arc, is the Guardians finally said, like, all right, Green Lanterns, you do have the ability to use deadly force in certain situations.
Right. Yeah.
We'll go ahead and let you go with that.
It is interesting to see where all this seems to be like. I mean, for once, DC seems like all their books are heading in the same direction.
Well, it's funny because talking to one of the owners at Tribe Comics, he's like, you know what? It's weird. I get people in here all the time who say like, well, I like Marvel better because they're more realistic and their stories are darker, more hardcore. And it's like, maybe you haven't been reading lately.
Exactly.
But DC is way past them up.
I'm
on
a big
that.
fan of Justice Society of America, and that's a dark fucking book. It's so dark.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Wow.
Like you guys are pretty like hardcore Marvel, I think, and I haven't read Marvel in like the last 2 years.
Well, actually, I would disagree. I would say certainly, like Leon and I are probably more squarely in the DC camp.
Well, yeah, I guess I hear more of you talk
about But the argument
DC.
that Leon makes for Marvel, I think, is kind of the opposite of what I would think. I think Marvel has more of an appeal because it's more playful fantasy with the Wolverines and Spider-Mans, and there's a happier outlook on things where I think it's a lot more gritty and there's a realistic take.
It's too bad we're out of time because then we could explore Dark Reign and show you how that's not the case at all.
And
even
we'll
with
have
Dark
to do that.
Reign, it seems more of the playful whimsy of.
I think either of the big two, there is a lot at stake. It is different things. I think DC does like the world-threatening stuff a lot better, and I think Marvel does the self-contained, like, Wolverine feeling bad about killing people.
I think both books need to like chill out on the big event thing.
Yeah.
As
Hell
we said
yeah.
repeatedly, even DC in like that little preview for the Justice League book we're talking about, where they start right off going, "Boy, there sure has been a lot of crises lately,"
Right.
and I'm like, "Yeah, exactly."
Yeah,
Can we-
Well, I'm glad they're pointing it out because I'm sure a lot of the readers are like, "All right, already,"
Can we
I know I am.
I do like the way, and here, my opinion has always been like for the last 5 years, Jeff Johns should be the editor of DC. Period. End of fucking story.
Yeah.
And I think we've all said we've all been talking about these multitude of titles and going, wow, it seems like this might be like relevant to Blackest Night. Seems like this might be relevant to Blackest Night.
Right. I see where you're going.
I think that is completely purposeful, and I think they're doing something that. Whatever you're reading, it'll tie into Blackest Night, and you can read it.
Well, granted that Jeff Johns has dipped his hand in every
Yeah.
single one of these books that we're talking about.
And I think that's how you should do it. I think they're going to show a more organic way to do a crossover than DC has done in the past with the Crises, or Marvel has done with Civil War, or Secret War, or Secret Invasion, or Dark Reign.
I think it's time to look towards their best crisis, the murder mystery, the Dibney murder mystery.
Sure, the
With
identity
crisis.
Brad Metzger's
and
Identity
go back
Crisis.
and say, you know what? This is how you do a crossover. It doesn't need to be the whole world about to blow up.
Yeah.
Let's see some stories again.
And not only that, they made this great point in that graphic novel that they really haven't addressed, where Ollie is talking to Roy Harper, Speedy, Arsenal, Red Arrow, whatever you want to call him, and just looking at him, he's just like, I can't believe you did that to Dr. Light. And he just looks at him dead on, and he's like, do you think this is the first time we've done something like this?
Yeah. Which is an
And it's just
astonishing
like-
reveal.
Yeah, it's an astonishing reveal. And on the other hand, it's also like a doy moment for everybody. It's just like, yeah, they pretty much have to do something
Of
like
course
that.
they would. And at the same time, even they had to deal with the horror of realizing that they had to do it.
It's just like, generally we can let Bruce in on this and he'll take care of the shit for us.
It's like a bunch of pussies.
You know? Some guy from Wayne Enterprise will go with him with like a dead horse head and be like, would you like this in your bed or couch?
But
All right,
real
fellas,
quick,
now-
Leo, but real quick, I've been trying to spit this out, and I'll be done. I'm done. As far as titles that kind of broke my heart, the Mark Millar series when he was doing The Authority.
1985?
No, when he was doing The Authority,
The
and it
Authority
seemed
was
he
great,
just kind of
yeah.
dropped off the map on that book. I mean, I was so pissed off when somebody else took that book over, because I thought that book was going to become like the next big, huge, Justice League.
He went and did the
for-
Ultimates instead.
for
And
our-
that became
our
the next
generation.
big book.
Sorry?
He did the Ultimates instead. He left that book to do the Ultimates, and that became the next big book.
All right, I'm going to hit the power switch and co-host power.
Hey, that's not my power switch. That's my goddamn. Yeah, that's my attachment there.
Well,
Only
that
the ladies
signals
touch
the
that.
end of another Leog here.
And I was going to
It's
hope
only
we would
5 in the
let
morning.
co-hosting Mary, I've got my answer true.
Well, we can go on with a little
What?
chocolate rain. Sorry, you want to hit the keyboards for us?
What? No, I got to play an
What,
instrument?
what's that all about? All right, fine.
I can do Rocket by Herbie Hancock.
Wait, how does keyboard cat go?
I go say dee, 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 dee.
Wow, I can listen to that all night. Except,
I can't.
Except it's been all night
I'm
already.
shutting myself off. I'm sorry.
So thanks for listening to another episode of the Leog. We'll be back next week with more comedy hijinks and
Jason, your pal, will be
that's
back.
the
Hey,
hijinks.
lady! Oh,
More bitching about comics, really.
More of
than
that,
anything else.
and it might be a time for our Harry Potter episode next.
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
It is certainly. Oh my God! Allison just turned green and true fangs.
That is to
And
say,
I saw
Allison just turned into Smeagol.
All I
don't
have
know
to
what
say
happened.
is Accio Harry Potter episode.
assuming that we haven't recorded it and
True,
released it
true.
before this episode.
That's true. Okay, we got Harry Potter, we got Joss Whedon, we got more comics.
There's lots of stuff coming up.
maybe a
and
toy
just-
episode.
More
I don't
Josh Whedon. Joss, whatever.
I am willing to put my
Joshua.
sword into the circle and say, toy episode, yes.
know. Yes.
Who is
right.
with me?
I would
Round Table Leo.
I'm
with
Beanie
thee.
Baby.
I'm busy
I
washing
will
my hair.
patiently sit back and give you 10 minutes of another episode for toys.
And with that, we will go off with our standing sign off. Long live the League!
Let's do it. Oh, sorry.
No. Hooray, the League! Hooray! Oh, wait. Is
never
that now how
invited.
we're...
Luke Calais.